the Davis County Commission meeting yesterday to voice their opposition to a planned Code Blue warming center for the homeless.
We don't want answers. We don't want the shelter.
One that you choose to listen to rather than the 100 people in front of you.
You were elected by all of these people in the room and you're not listening to us.
The county wants to use an old emissions building for the homeless on nights where it's 18 degrees or colder. Commissioner Bob Stevenson told KSL-TV it's too late to find another location, so it's a done deal this year. The Valley View Golf Course in Layton and the Clearfield Senior Center will also be used as Code Blue warming shelters. It was a cold one yesterday. We had a heavy day of rain and snow. Alta saw 11 inches of snowfall. 3 inches of snow fell in Cherry Park, Suncrest, and Tooele, with 4 inches falling on Cherry Peak. Our next chance for some more rain or snow will come on Saturday. Our top national story this hour from ABC News: inflation numbers are still higher than normal.
Inflation was slightly higher last month after 2 years of cooling, but remained low. Prices in October were up 2.6% from the same month a year ago. That's just what analysts expected. Month to month, prices ticked up 0.2% from September to October, the same as the month before. Today's Consumer Price Index data from the Labor Department is being closely watched by the Federal Reserve as it weighs further interest rate cuts.
ABC's Dave Packer reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 118 now. That's 0.25%. We're at 44,029. Coming up, we'll have clouds today and a little bit warmer temperatures. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:02. Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Imagine struggling with a slow, outdated computer that takes forever to load anything, that randomly freezes up and is filled with viruses and malware. Now picture yourself with a powerful desktop or laptop that runs smoothly and efficiently, making your work and entertainment seamless. Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
Attention Utah professionals. Join us at the Utah Business Forward event on November 20th, 2024 at the Grand America Hotel. Learn from successful Utah leaders, including Kurt Doman of Progressive Leasing and U of U women's basketball coach Lynn Roberts. Dive into breakout sessions on entrepreneurship, people and culture, acquisitions, AI, brand marketing, and strategic leadership. Don't miss this opportunity to connect and grow. Visit forward.utahbusiness.com to register today.
$100,163. That is the average amount of money a person saves on taxes in retirement with Boss Retirement Solutions. Discover how much money you could save with a free, customized retirement tax savings analysis. If you've saved more than $200,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. 801-896-9622. Boss Retirement Solutions is a 5-time winner of the Utah Best of State Award, and they have 7 offices throughout the Wasatch Front. $100,163. That is the average amount of money a person saves on taxes in retirement with Boss. So let's find out how much money you could save. Call 801-896-9622. That number again, 801-896-9622.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors. See website disclaimer for details.
The KSL News Radio movie show comes to My Hearing Centers this Friday from 10 to 1. But first, discover what My Hearing Centers can do for you. My Hearing Centers uses advanced technology to diagnose and treat hearing loss. These comprehensive evaluations determine the best treatment options. Then enjoy lifetime support with regular check-ins, cleaning, and maintenance. Call My Hearing Centers at 801-701-1629. 801-701-1629 for more details. My Hearing Centers has offices from Ogden to St. George.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
We've got a new crash northbound I-15 in Murray. This is just after you pass the on-ramp from 4500 south, but before you get to the exit of 3300 south. You've got one vehicle in the left lane that's next to the HOV and another vehicle over on the left shoulder. So right now, traffic is going around the one car that's stuck in the left lane both directions. UHP has not arrived on scene. It is causing backups all the way into the Midvale area. So that's going to take you a few extra minutes to get through. And crews are still dealing with a crash in Syracuse. SR 193 eastbound at 1500 west. Only one right lane is open. When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing exceptional service from 4 dealers. Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Truck Country. See performancebountiful.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
It'll be cloudy today with highs in the 50s. Much of the same tomorrow. Right now it is cloudy, 37 downtown. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Dave and I keeping a close eye already this morning on news feeds that are coming to us live from the nation's capital. Photographers fixed on the White House right now as President-elect Donald Trump is expected any moment at the White House for a meeting with President Biden. Dave?
This is a very important symbolic meeting. I don't know how much is really going to get done, but obviously getting these two together, having that olive branch of inviting the former president to the current president's house, this is a very important meeting, I think, just for appearances. And oftentimes appearances don't mean anything. This one is the exception. I think this one means something.
And Dave, I see 2 microphones, a couple of microphones, actually maybe 3 or 4 microphones now that I'm looking at it from a different angle, fixated right there at the White House. The question will be, will the two get together pre-meeting, post-meeting? We've got our eyes on it, and if they gather at those microphones, we will make sure we take you there live the moment they start to speak.
Debbie, so help me, if they have a joint press conference, it will be one of the shocks that I've seen in the last 4 years, no question. It's 9:08. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things that Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
Well, it's a controversy that's been brewing across Davis County for the better part of the week, and we're going to go in depth in about 30 minutes on it. Where to house a winter warming center for people experiencing homelessness. Now, the centers are mandated, not just in Davis County, but in different parts of Utah, by state law. So when temperatures drop into the teens, people who are experiencing homelessness have a place warm to stay overnight. Well, in the show lineup today, the lawmaker behind the law responds live to comments that have been made by residents of Davis County who oppose this plan, and the mayor of Kaysville reacting live to residents' cries.
See what other people have to say. This is ridiculous.
We don't want answers. We don't want the shelter.
You were elected by all of these people in the room and you're not listening to us.
Having lived in Kaysville most of my life, I wonder how much of a need there is to have this kind of a warming center because, quite frankly, you don't see it. You come downtown to Salt Lake City, you will see folks that are struggling with homelessness all over the place. You will not see that in Kaysville. So how much need is there is my number one question. I don't have a problem with spreading out resources around the state, sharing that load, but are people going to be bussed into this area? Because that's what it would take from an outsider looking in.
Countdown. 2.
President-elect Donald Trump, as we said, any moment expected to meet with President Joe Biden at the White House. The moment it happens, if both of them hold, as you said, Dave, a joint press briefing outside the White House, we see microphones set up. We'll take you there live. We also know that he has been making a series of appointments. President-elect Donald Trump has, including entrepreneurs Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, to his new Department of Government Efficiency, the acronym DOGE. Trump's giving them about a year and a half to make recommendations to make government more efficient.
This is one of the greatest ideas that's come out of Washington in years. Like, have some professionals, people that have run businesses, go in there, look at the U.S. government and say, okay, if this were a private business, how would we run it? Because Elon Musk, when he purchased Twitter, cut the staff at Twitter by 2/3. 2/3 reduction. And guess what? Twitter still runs. It still works. Can you imagine if we did something similar in the U.S. government? That would be astounding. It would also be devastating to the economy.
Launch countdown 1.
The fallout from the rivalry game continues. We've learned that an arrest has been made in that water bottle throwing incident that ended with a BYU cheer coach saying she got knocked unconscious as she was hit with this water bottle that was flying from the stands in last weekend's BYU U of U rivalry game.
And Debbie, the lesson I learned here, you will always be caught. There are 45,000 fans up there, all dressed in red, yelling and screaming in chaos, packed together like sardines, and they track down the person that threw the water bottle, allegedly.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The launch.
Commence.
Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
Until we take you live to Washington, D.C., let's talk about the arrest that was made by the University of Utah Police Department and the video that captured the water bottle flying toward the BYU head cheer coach. And it was a Cougar fan, her name's Jessica Hellawell, who recorded the video of Jocelyn Allen being hit in the head with a water bottle.
Fans are throwing water bottles. That girl's got hit in the face with a water bottle.
You heard some of the rumblings. Like, we'd heard, hey, someone may have been hit with a water bottle. And then the video comes out and you see it clear as day, this water bottle flying through the air, hitting the cheer coach right in the head, and she drops. And she drops to the ground. I thought, no one will ever know who throws that. I am shocked, Debbie, beyond words, that they were able to pinpoint and track it down.
The idea of throwing water bottles, and it's been happening for a while, Dave, right? I mean, this just seems, I think this highlights how dangerous it can be.
It's a great point, because water bottles have been the exemption for a long time. Forever.
Really? What do you mean by exemption?
Well, for a very long time, and going back decades, stadiums won't sell beer bottles. They won't sell cans. They won't sell.
Okay.
They won't sell these. They'll pour it into a cup, and then they'll give you the cup because try to throw a paper cup,
okay.
right? Nothing's going to happen.
I didn't know that.
So that has been something that's been very common for a long time. There have been exemptions for water bottles and soda. So now that these are being, quite honestly, weaponized and being, because you throw a 20-ounce bottle of water or soda, I mean that.
I've dropped one on my foot. In all sincerity.
From 3 feet.
It hurts.
Now,
it does.
Imagine that from
somebody throwing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coming down
hitting
from
my face.
row 19.
Yeah. So here's the news release that we got. University of Utah arrested an 18-year-old on a charge of assault, which is a Class A misdemeanor. He's charged with throwing a water bottle onto the field at Rice-Eccles Stadium. It struck a member of the BYU cheerleading team. We said Desert News has reported, and we've reported that it was the coach,
the cheer coach,
who posted information about this online, and then now there's been an arrest made, and obviously that video that we just played as well, which captured this happening in the moment.
That girl's got hit in the face with a water bottle.
And they did point out that the person they arrested is not a University of Utah student.
And I'm not entirely certain that this person would have been targeting somebody. I don't think they threw the water bottle at the cheer coach specifically, because people were just raining stuff on the field, which is very common at sporting events. When fans are unhappy, they just start tossing stuff on the field.
So coming up, let's talk about this. We've got the arrest of the fan who was at the game for allegedly throwing that water bottle. And then post-game, we've talked about what the U's athletic director's comments, what he said after the game, and that landed him a $40,000 fine.
We were excited about being in the Big 12, but tonight I am not. We won this game. Someone else stole it from us.
So from the arrest of that fan, that 18-year-old fan that we just talked about, to the U's athletic director's comments post-rivalry game, straight ahead, Dave and I discuss, is this what it takes? The arrest and then the fine, of course, of the AD that we've talked about earlier in the week. Is this what it takes to turn a corner toward improving conduct at sporting events? That discussion straight ahead.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Current events can have a lot of moving parts. Our job is to make it easy to keep up.
You're part of a bigger world, so spend 15 or 20 minutes here and be part of it.
Join us weekday mornings between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
A house explosion this afternoon.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you have a drain that's clogged or backed up, after you've tried the plungers and products, the next step usually involves some kind of drain snake or cabling equipment. You see, sometimes the blockage is far enough down the line that you need special equipment that most homeowners just don't have. That's where the Drains Department at Any Hour Services can help. A drain snake can clear most blockages and get the water flowing again, and clearing blocked drains is what our Drains Department does day in and day out. So if you're a homeowner with a drain line that's clogged or backed up and you'd like one of our drain technicians to come and snake the line for you, it's only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. Of a birthday occurred. Absolutely. As we have come to expect. But I realized in reading something about Ruth's Chris, their most popular steak that they serve, it's the New York steak. And I thought, I need to open my horizons. I love the ribeye, but next time I'm going for the New York strip. And they have so much more at Ruth's Chris. Of course, they're a steakhouse, so we talk about steaks. But they have seafood and poultry and specialty dishes, seasonal dishes that you are absolutely going to love. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse with 2 locations, Hotel Park City and downtown Salt Lake City. And during this holiday season that we are approaching, it's time to make sure you have your reservations, maybe a company party, a gathering, or maybe you just want to give a gift card. Get into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, the perfect dining experience.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom!
I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, President-elect Donald Trump is returning to Washington today. He met with the House GOP and will soon meet with President Joe Biden. Second, 2 people are recovering in a hospital after a car chase in West Valley City. The driver crashed into 2 separate cars. And third, Kaysville residents packed a Davis County Commission meeting yesterday to voice their opposition to a planned Code Blue warming center for the homeless. But the county says it's already a done deal. Right now, it's 37 degrees downtown. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
We have been watching this meeting unfold live here in the studio for the last few minutes between President Biden and President-elect Donald Trump. Just moments ago, the two looked at each other and they were laughing, Dave.
Yeah, they were laughing.
like
They were
they
shaking
were joking.
hands. Absolutely. And I think this was very interesting to watch. They're going to have a private meeting right now. That's what they're doing. They just kind of shoot out all the photographers, and then there's a microphone outside of the White House. We expect President Trump to make some remarks afterwards. I don't think initially we thought, well, maybe both of them are going to have a joint statement. It doesn't seem like that's the case. It seems like President Trump is going to President-elect Trump will probably say something after the meeting.
So are we getting any audio? I'm looking at the control room right now. Are we getting any audio feeds that we can take live at all? Because it does appear that the national media is kind of transcribing what they're saying. And I'm just going to report based on what I'm reading here at the bottom of the CNN and Fox's screens. Dave, are you hearing anything?
Yeah, I've got a little something from Fox News
let's
right now
listen in.
that's
Okay,
making
thanks.
comments on it.
Appreciate it.
I don't know. I don't know if the meeting they're about to have will be as warm as that fire between the two men, but we'll find out momentarily. When he met with Barack Obama, the meeting went 90 minutes. Who's to say how long this goes? I thought what Jake Sullivan said on CBS on Sunday was kind of interesting. He said, we want to know what his ideas are. I don't think Donald Trump is the kind of guy who wants to show his hand. He's got fires that he wants to put out all over the world.
Literal ones.
Yeah, and some of these cabinet positions, not necessarily cabinet, but the people on his team, I think are very interesting. You know, Fox Digital reported 2 hours ago, they broke the news that there will be a Ukraine envoy to try and settle that matter. And that's going to be...
Trump actually said that it's going to be a smooth transition in the short little interaction they had in front of a fireplace while sitting down. Said it's going to be a smooth transition, and President Biden says, "You're welcome."
I want to turn you over now to CNN for just a few minutes so we can listen into their coverage.
It's often something we see with Donald Trump, but right now it is clear what he's doing. Well, yes, that scene was cordial. The brief pleasantries were pleasant, I guess, polite, but I do think it is worth underscoring, you know, the reason that this scene and this image is so striking is because these two men have no relationship to speak of. This is not President George W. Bush welcoming the Obamas to the White House. This is not Bill Clinton welcoming W. Bush to the White House. You look back on those images and the footage, and there is some real warmth there. There is no actual warmth, despite the fire, between those two men. We've talked about the many ways in which President Trump has talked in denigrating ways about President Biden. Biden, too, throughout the course of this campaign, referring to this person as a fascist, as a total threat to the country. And now, on top of that, he is having to say the words, "welcome back," to a man who single-handedly actually could completely alter, and probably already has altered, his political legacy. The fact that he believed that he needed to seek a second term and then was forced out of the race, and then the vice president that he endorsed didn't end up winning. I mean, that is going to be sort of the lead sentence probably of anything that is ever written about President Biden. And here they are now just sitting a couple of feet away from each other, and he is having to say the words, "welcome back."
Yeah, and you know, those relationships were not always warm between, you know, the Clintons and the Bushes, or the Bushes and the Obamas when that was happening in the moment. Certainly their political views we're not aligned. But I think, what this moment says, and, talking about how cordial it is and how, strange that is given what we know they really think about each other, it's because it's a moment that people learn not to take for granted, because 4 years ago it did not happen. We will continue watching all of this closely. Right now, what we are hearing is that President Biden and President-elect Trump are still meeting in the Oval Office as of this moment. You just got a brief glimpse of it.
You've been listening, as we are with you, to CNN's live coverage of this meeting at the White House. It just began a few moments ago. We listened in on Fox News' coverage as well. President Biden saying welcome back to President-elect Donald Trump.
Yeah, the President-elect Trump says politics is tough and the transition will be smooth. I thought it was very interesting that they were sitting down in front of a roaring fire. They were smiling. They were laughing. They actually they shook hands. And I thought the analysis from CNN was spot on. Very interesting to see this unfold, because for the last several years, these two candidates have done nothing but go after each other. And it's the leader of the free world, and it was the former president, and they were both going after each other for years. So to see after the election, after Trump wins, sit down, shake hands, smile, be cordial, that I thought was an absolutely powerful moment. And I think it was absolutely crucial that we saw that as a country, because we are so divided in so many ways. And we've talked about ways that, how do we heal this divide? I might be making too much out of this. I think this is a great step forward. You heal the divide by someone being the bigger man, for lack of a better phrase, and saying, you know what? Even though there's been so much acrimony and so much vitriol over the past several years, we're going to sit down. We're going to shake hands like you're supposed to do at the end of a football game. Battle it out on the field, and at the end of the game, you shake hands.
Did you note that President-elect Donald Trump is going to be holding a press briefing after this? We thought, we didn't know for sure, but we thought perhaps maybe both of them would be making comments together, but it appears as though it'll be President-elect Donald Trump. There we go, an image on Fox News right now of both of them sitting in front of that fireplace and then shaking hands. President Biden saying to President-elect Donald Trump, welcome back. I'll be curious to hear, of course, and we'll take you there live, the moment President-elect Trump starts to speak. There are several microphones and, of course, cameras set up at the White House. Biden saying congratulations as well to former President Trump. Welcome back to the White House. To listen in on President-elect Trump's remarks.
Now, how much work is going to get done over the next, 30 minutes, 90 minutes, however long this meeting lasts? I don't think probably anything substantial or tangible happens, but the fact that they are meeting is what matters. It doesn't matter what words are being said.
You think it's symbolic?
It's powerful symbolism.
I would agree with you. I was hoping that this would happen. I'm also hoping that the Trumps or the Bidens and Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, are at President Trump's inauguration.
It was one of the great disappointments, I think, of the Trump presidency when he didn't show up for President Biden's inauguration. I thought it was a terrible visual. I thought it was a huge mistake. I love that there's not this tit for tat going on with President Biden, where he said, you know what, I felt disrespected, so I'm going to disrespect you. Somebody's got to be the bigger person. And I think this is exactly what we're seeing from President Biden. This is great. And just as important as President Biden handing the olive branch, Trump took it. And that's a victory for both.
Straight ahead, we're going to jump into the controversy that's been percolating across Davis County for the better part of a week. Dave and I have not talked about this, but we have been watching the news coverage on this, and we're going to dig into it straight ahead. And the controversy is where to house a winter warming center for people experiencing homelessness. The centers are mandated. by state law across the state of Utah when temps dip, into the teens, when it gets really, really, really freezing cold outside. But there's been some controversy, particularly in Davis County, and it's gotten a lot of news coverage over the last several days. Straight ahead, the mayor of Kaysville reacting live to residents' pushback on where the warming center in Kaysville is scheduled to open up.
See what other people have to say. This is ridiculous. We don't want answers. We don't want the shelter. You were elected by all of these people in the room and you're not listening to us.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, 3 fires have now resulted in arson charges against the man accused of setting them. KSL News Radio's Becky Bruce reports all 3 took place at government facilities in Salt Lake City.
These are federal charges accusing Johnny Medina of setting 3 small fires in September. All 3 were doused quickly. One was at the Wallace F. Bennett Federal Building, another at the Orrin G. Hatch Federal Courthouse, and the third would have meant hopping a fence at Salt Lake City International Airport in order to get onto the tarmac.
Federal Protective Service officers identified Medina as the suspect in the first fire. The probable cause statement says he was linked to the other 2 using surveillance and body camera footage. The man accused of hitting and killing Santaquin Police Sergeant Bill Hooser with a semi-truck will be in court today for a status update. Michael Aaron Jane is facing 9 felony charges, including aggravated murder. Our top national story now from ABC News. President-elect Donald Trump is nominating Fox News host Pete Hegseth to be defense secretary, along with Vivek Ramaswamy and billionaire Elon Musk over a new Department of Government Efficiency. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 188 now. That's 0.4%. We're at 44,096. Coming up, we'll be cloudy and warmer today. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32.
Doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
One of the things I love about Salt Lake City fat loss is the results. Anyone that's ever tried to lose weight, and I think we've probably all done it on some level, sticking with it. That's the hardest thing. And with Salt Lake City Fat Loss, one of the things I loved the most is every single day they would send me something, whether it was a text message, a video that explains why we are doing what we're doing. And sure, anytime you're trying to lose weight, it can be difficult. It can be hard to stick to the program. But I was losing about a pound of fat a day. And because I was seeing those incredible results, I was excited to get on the scale every morning, and I stayed motivated with the program. And I just kept losing and losing and losing, and I lost 57 pounds in 60 days. Results vary, of course, and everybody will respond differently, but I've been so happy with it. Go ahead and schedule a free consultation at slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Before your guests arrive, go with the pros at Zerorez. Carpet, tile, upholstery, air ducts, Zerorez does it all. Don't trust just anybody. Zerorez has a 4.9 rating on Google. Beat the holiday rush and call the cleaning heroes today. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at just $119. And take 20% off upholstery cleaning by calling 801-288-9376. Or book online anytime at Zerorez.com and mention the KSL special. Backward or forward, it's the right way to clean. Zerorez.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
Check out AMCO's multiple financing options, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow.
AA MCO.
Jimmer from 40 feet! Got it! He did it again!
Hi, I'm Jimmer Fredette.
We all have our heroes. I know I have mine. Looking to them as role models has helped me achieve my dreams. If you want to make a difference, give hope to thousands of Americans on the organ transplant waiting list. 3/4 of those on the list need a kidney, and one person dies every 2 hours as the need for organs far exceeds the supply. I made the choice to be an organ donor. You can make a difference. Donate a kidney or donate a car. Both save lives. Join me, Jimmer Fredette, in my effort to make an impact. Donate to the Kidney Foundation today. Donate online at www.towcars.org. That's TOWKARS.org. Make your car a kidney car, a car that saves lives. Call the Kidney Foundation at 1-800-TOW-CARS today. Join me and make a difference.
Call 1-800-TOW-CARS with a K, like kidney.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
We are still dealing with a crash northbound I-15 approaching 3300 South in South Salt Lake. The HOV lane and left shoulder are blocked. Traffic backed up into the Murray area. Before you even get there, though, you are going to still have slowdowns from Sandy into Midvale. This is due to lane restrictions with construction. The right lane is blocked as you go over the I-215 South interchange. So everybody's moving to the left, and then they have to move to the right. So a little bit slow still trying to get into downtown Salt Lake. Revere Health encourages you to schedule your preventative care and annual checkups to help increase the potential to live your most healthy and active life. Revere Health, your partner in health, your partner for life. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
It'll be cloudy today with highs in the 50s, much of the same tomorrow. Right now, it's cloudy and 38 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
We're going to dive into the controversy that has been brewing for the better part of a week, maybe even longer, up in Davis County, where a warming center for people experiencing homelessness needs to open up because it's mandated by state law. And it is not just Davis County, but we're going to talk more in depth with the lawmaker behind this legislation in our 10 o'clock hour. But for now, we're going to talk about what has been happening in Davis County. And yesterday, residents in Kaysville had very strong reactions to the idea of a warming center opening up in their community.
See what other people have to say. This is ridiculous.
We don't want answers. We don't want the shelter.
One that you choose to listen to rather than the 100 people in front of you.
You were elected by all of these people in the room and you're not listening to us. The people that are coming to these homeless shelters do not want help. They're drug addicts. They do horrific things. I have small children. This is not why we elected you.
And this is a very, very contentious topic. And this has been for years and years. In fact, the homelessness issue largely impacts Salt Lake, and even more so, Salt Lake downtown. And we've heard from Mayor Aaron Mendenhall for years begging the state to help her with the burden, right? That there is just too much piled at the feet of Salt Lake City. So what lawmakers and what other leaders have tried to do is try to spread out the resources around the state so that it is not all concentrated and exclusively a Salt Lake downtown issue.
Well, it was last week we were reporting on the possibility of this opening up at a church in the Fruit Heights area. But then the church announced it would no longer be a warming center for those experiencing homelessness because of the conflict it had created in that community. And now we have the homeless warming center opening up in Kaysville, and you've opened up a map of the area to kind of give us an idea of where this would be. And in a moment, we're going to speak live with the mayor of Kaysville about this controversy.
Yeah, I've grown up in Kaysville. That's where I've lived most of my life. I've recently moved, but I know this area extremely well. Now, this, I would describe it as in an area, not in the middle of a neighborhood. It's in a more industrial part of Kaysville. There's not a lot of these places, but it's kind of an industrial little road. where there's a lot of businesses. This isn't an old emissions testing center, so it kind of looks like essentially a tin warehouse. It's got several large doors, like garage doors, and it obviously it's pretty good size. Like this is very large. Do we know how many people that we anticipate that it would be able to hold?
My understanding is about 16, but we'll confirm that with the mayor
Oh,
in just a moment.
you could do far more than
But
16.
But
This thing's enormous.
is it plopped in the middle of a neighborhood?
No,
or like,
no.
with
There's,
houses?
in fact, the closest neighborhood, it's separated with railroads or train tracks.
Okay.
So there's some fencing. Now there's roads that lead into that. It's not. You
could drive by it.
It's
is what you're
very,
saying.
it's close, but it's not like in somebody's backyard.
Okay. Mayor Tammy Tran from the city of Kaysville on the line. Mayor, I want to start by getting your reaction to the many comments that we heard coming out of that pretty contentious meeting.
See what other people have to say. This is ridiculous. We don't want answers. We don't want the shelter. You were elected by all of these people in the room, and you're not listening to us.
What was your reaction? Were you in there? Were you listening? And if not, what's your reaction to what's being said by residents?
Excuse me, I was in the room and at the commission meeting and listening to the reactions. I'll tell you that the reason that Kaysville is really frustrated with this is because the process has been frustrating from the beginning. When we first heard that the emissions center might be used, and I do want to clarify the fact that the emissions building looks like it's vacant and abandoned. It's not. Davis County has a special team that uses the main emissions building where we used to take our cars. Is used full-time 24/7. So it's not a vacant building. It is being used by the county. The building that faces the church mill is the location for the Code Blue. And it is a testing center, and it's used to train emissions testing technicians. And if your car fails an emissions test somewhere, you can go there and have it retested. And that is operational Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and by appointment. And so I think that there's been some confusion as, when the news reports this location and shows pictures, it looks like it's just abandoned, and it's not. So I want to clarify that. And so that's why it's kind of frustrating for Kaysville. When we looked at the draft plan that the county provided, the plan is to bus people into Kaysville from Clinton, Clearfield, Layton, Farmington, and Bountiful. Kaysville doesn't have a pickup location in Kaysville because we don't have transportation in Kaysville for someone to go and jump on a bus to be picked up. The bus system, I think, is a shuttle system. I'm not sure which shuttle system the county will use. But that's why it's frustrating. It's just really difficult to say, Kaysville, this is a great location, and we're asking, well, why? If you're wanting to be close to services, this is not close to services. If you're wanting to just be tucked away, okay, yeah, it's a little bit tucked away. There are still neighborhoods nearby, and there's a railroad track very close.
Mayor Tammy Tran is joining us right now, Mayor of Kaysville, where this warming center has been proposed. And as I had mentioned earlier in the show, there is not a large homelessness population in Kaysville. Whereas if you come downtown Salt Lake, you will see folks, all over the place on the, street camping. You do not see that in Kaysville. And what you're saying is that to use this warming center, there would actually be people shuttled from other cities into Kaysville to be in the warming center?
Yes. And it's not that we oppose keeping people alive, okay? We understand that there's a need for that, and we want to support that. That's why we came up with, hey, what about a warming bus? Now, a dignity bus, it's obviously not on the table anymore. People don't, some people don't like it, but we had consensus amongst the 15 cities that this would be a great way to help people to fulfill the law, to keep people alive and warm.
Mayor, a bus? You want to house the homeless community on a bus?
Well, Debbie, the requirement is not to provide housing. It's to provide a bed at night to keep people alive during a Code Blue night. It's not to provide rehabilitation or to help people to the next step. It's just step one, keep people alive. And that's what we suggested, yes.
So if not in Kaysville at this emissions center, where do you want this homeless warming center? What city Mayor, should open up a warming center, if not Kaysville?
Well, it's a really great question. And so we've asked the county for data. We've said, provide us with the data as well as a list of county-owned facilities. The county owns multiple buildings in our county. And if we, depending on what is the goal, is the goal to keep people alive, or is the goal to be able to provide a full support facility? If the goal is to keep people alive, we need to go to where people are, so that you can keep them alive. Asking people to get on a bus going into another city outside of their community, away from their friends, family, associates, jobs, because people do have jobs they're in this situation, doesn't make a lot of sense if we're actually going to keep them alive, and we just want to fulfill the ability to do that in a given area. So we've asked for data. We don't have the data. We have heard that Kaysville is not a hot spot for people congregating. We know that because we see that.
Mayor, is this a done deal?
I don't believe it is. So honestly, this whole process, Dave, is new to me. Apparently there's a state task force that meets. They have a meeting tomorrow at the Capitol to approve final budget allocations. Apparently they met last month and decided that they would fund something. So I don't know if it's a done deal. I'm not privy to those conversations, but I do know there's a meeting tomorrow.
Mayor Tammy Tran, thank you for joining us, the mayor of Kaysville.
We'll get into a live conversation with the lawmaker who has shepherded this particular piece of legislation that mandates warming centers outside of Salt Lake City, in other communities, about the pushback and the mandate and what this means for the communities that are going to have to open up warming centers in order to house people experiencing homelessness when the temperatures get unbearable. Quite frankly, 18 degrees and sleeping outside can cause a lot of health issues for people. So we'll continue to follow this and also track that meeting for tomorrow. But Representative Steve Elison's going to join us in the 10 o'clock hour.
Yeah, and I think ultimately what the big picture hope is that more communities, more counties will have resources available, especially during these bitterly, dangerously cold nights, and they're trying to figure out the best way to address it.
Straight ahead, we were reporting earlier in the show about an arrest that's been made in the water bottle throwing incident that ended with a BYU cheer coach getting knocked unconscious last weekend during the BYU U of U rivalry game. Dave and I talking about, is this what it'll take to correct fan conduct, arrests at big sporting events? That's up next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Here's a trick to podcasting at work and getting all the Utah news you love.
Download the KSL News Radio app.
The podcast for Utah's morning news and Dave and Debbie are right there. Dozens of podcasts a day.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
One of the things that really stood out to me is how common it is that Utahns here, kids especially, are struggling with food insecurity. 317,000 people here in Utah. That's about 1 in 11 individuals are struggling with food insecurity. And that's why I appreciate Macy's Harvest of Hope food drive. They want to raise $200,000 this month through November 30th, $200,000 in the Harvest of Hope food drive to help people that are struggling with food insecurity. And there's a number of ways that you can contribute. And some of the basics that are needed are peanut butter, mac and cheese, chili, those box meals that are so easy to prepare. But if you can just make a small cash donation at Macy's, that will help contribute a great deal to their goal. All you have to do is go to Macy's and you can make that cash donation. You can do it online if you can't actually get to Macy's. You can go to Macys.com/online. Go ahead and just keep an eye out for some of the products in the store. If you do go to Macy's, there's a little Harvest of Hope tag, and then a portion of all those sales are going to go to a local food bank. All you have to do, again, is go to Macys.com/online or go ahead and stop in the store and make a donation to Macy's Harvest of Hope.
Don't be worried, be ready.
KSL News Radio has partnered with Be Ready Utah to provide the plans your family needs for an emergency, the tools and supplies to keep on hand, and the knowledge on how to keep a cool head.
It's Be Ready Utah. Listen to our show, Dave and Dujanovic, for Be Ready tips and tools.
Or you can always find the latest preparation info at BeReadyUtah.gov.
Be Ready Utah with KSL News Radio.
This is Derek Overstreet of the New Millennium Group and host of Stop Working and Start Living Radio. If you're close to or in retirement and you don't have a tax plan, call us right now, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. Listen, our country's been spending like never before, and the tax bill is coming soon. If you need an income tax strategy and a financial plan that will get you through the rest of your life, give my team a call, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. If you want an investment plan that allows you to keep more of your gains and pay less taxes, give us a call, 888-999-6370. My team specializes in the type of plan that will get you retired 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible. So, get a no-cost tax analysis by calling 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. My team is standing by now.
I let go of about 120 pounds. Mobility's back. When people see me, they're just shocked. You know, they always ask you, like, what'd you do? And I tell them, I came to Soda. It's accountability. These guys, I don't think I would have done it on my own if I didn't have their support.
Find the proof at sodaweightloss.com with thousands of before and after pictures from real people who found lasting success with Soda Weight Loss.
I am down 50 pounds in 11 weeks, and this program works. All you have to do is do what they ask you to do. The pounds melt off. It's amazing, and I feel great.
Imagine getting on the scale every week and watching the pounds melt off, showing off your new look for the holidays. There's a reason Soda Weight Loss is the chosen weight loss program of the Dallas Cowboys organization and fans. Right now, get Soda's biggest savings of the year. Connect with a nutritionist today at sodaweightloss.com and ask about our holiday special. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
The Salt Lake Fall Home Expo is here this weekend at the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. It's free. See more online at saltlakehomexpo.com.
The Good Feet Store. The life you love starts here.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, a couple of Utah names have landed on President-elect Trump's list of potential cabinet picks, including former Utah Congressman Chris Stewart and Senator Mike Lee. Second, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is launching their Giving Machine program today. Last year, the machines were located in 61 cities worldwide. And third, a new government report this morning shows inflation slightly higher, but still historically low. Prices were up 2.6% in October from the same month a year ago. Right now, it's 38 degrees downtown. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
We're talking about the arrests that we learned about in the water bottle throwing incident that was all caught on a phone, on a camera that was rolling when the water bottle flew out of the stands at the BYU University of Utah rivalry game on Saturday and hit the head coach, the head cheer coach for BYU in the head.
Fans are throwing water bottles.
11 years ago, I was at a BYU-Utah game down at BYU Lovell Edwards Stadium, a very close game. There were some controversial calls at the very end. Again, this is down in Provo. I'm on the field, and as the umpires, the referees, everyone's leaving, as the officials are leaving the field, BYU is raining down trash. So I've seen this. This is not just
water bottles or just trash.
There was some. I don't remember water bottles per se, but there was all sorts of stuff raining down.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just saying we're criticizing this. We're looking at this. I have seen it down at BYU.
Yeah.
I've seen it around the country. This is very common. When fans are unhappy, they throw stuff. This was really an aha moment for me because it's where someone got hurt, right? It's all fine if trash just falls harmlessly to the ground. But when you see this water bottle coming out of the stands and hitting someone directly in the head and seeing them collapse to the ground, that's where it's like, oh my goodness, what are we doing?
So what we have now in terms of the fallout from the rivalry game that BYU won, and just like a last second field goal, is we have an arrest of an 18-year-old who's been charged with assault, allegedly the one who threw that water bottle. The University of Utah police announcing that arrest and saying that he is not a University of Utah student. Now, let's set that aside for a moment. Additionally, we have the $40,000 fine that was levied from the Big 12 with athletic director Mark Harlan. After his comments, he was fined $40,000.
We were excited about being in the Big 12, but tonight I am not. We won this game. Someone else stole it from us.
So what I want to ask you, Dave, having so much experience in sports and reporting on games and being on the sidelines, we've got the arrest of the 18-year-old on one hand, and then over here we have the fine for the athletic director's comments of $40,000. Is this what it takes to change the type of conduct that we saw surrounding the game on Saturday night?
It's such a great question. Initially, I would have thought, yeah, if you're arresting people and it gets out there, then this probably does curb some of that bad behavior. And then the University of Utah sent us some numbers that were eye-popping to me. And it was how many ejections and arrests are happening every single game. So this game specifically, the Utah versus BYU, you'd probably be shocked to hear this. There were 53 ejections in that game where there were unruly fans and they got thrown out. There was 5 arrests made at the BYU-Utah game. Now you think, oh, well, that's just a rivalry game. That's what, tempers are hot. But in comparison, again, this is coming from the University of Utah, Utah versus Southern Utah, 35 ejections, 3 arrests. At Arizona, against Arizona, 47 ejections, 2 arrests. I mean, they've had 185 ejections this season just for the home games and 13 arrests.
Now, we know that the university presidents at BYU and the University of Utah got together, and a few days before the game, we saw this Rival Right campaign go public.
But most of all, you respect the people on the other side, no matter how bad you want them to lose.
However hot the rivalry gets, you don't let the competition get in the way of your common humanity.
And remember, what happens off the field matters just as much as the score.
In the end, that's what makes you a real fan.
Well, that and having Utah Man played at your funeral.
Or Rise and Shout.
Oh, come on.
You've heard it from the coaches. You've heard it from the university presidents. They've actually taken a break from the game, taking a years-long break between the BYU and Utah game in football, in basketball, because they felt like it was getting too heated. You've had arrests. You've had ejections. And it doesn't change the behavior. And I think everyone's scrambling, trying to figure out, okay, well, what can we do to fix this? Well, some of this is innate. It is just, this is what happens with rivalry games. But I also heard afterwards, in the post game, Kalani Sitake, the head coach at BYU, talking about his love for the University of Utah. I'm going to pull that audio, Debbie. It is powerful, and we need to play it later on in this show. I'm like, that's how you fix the rivalry. That's how you fix the toxicity.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. Kaysville residents packed a Davis County Commission meeting yesterday to voice what they feel is the problem with a Code Blue warming center for the homeless in Kaysville.
The people that are coming to these homeless shelters do not want help. This is not why we elected you.
County leaders want to use an admissions building they own in Kaysville as a Code Blue shelter on nights where it's 18 degrees or colder, but the city and its residents are frustrated over the level of transparency. County commissioners tell KSL TV the new law requires them to pick the locations in private meetings. At this point in the year, the warming center, as well as those planned for Layton and Clearfield, are a done deal. The Utah Jazz dropped their first group stage game of the NBA Cup last night to the Phoenix Suns, 120-112. The Jazz have still not won a single home game so far in this young season. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. An explosion at a food coloring plant in Louisville, Kentucky killed 2 people, injured at least 10. The explosion shattered windows in nearby buildings. Investigators say it will take some time to determine just exactly what happened. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day now, 162 points, and the NASDAQ is up 1.74. Coming up, it looks like we'll see some nice weather the next couple of days. No chance of rain. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
You know what's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the 9s, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Spend less time at the post office. With Formax and Mint mailing systems from Les Olson IT, you can quickly, accurately, and easily process your outgoing mail and even save on postage. Fold your documents, stuff and seal your envelopes, print addresses, weigh and measure to apply proper postage, all with the click of a button. With multiple model options available, you're sure to find a Formax solution and Mint mailing device that perfectly fits your business needs.
Les Olson IT.
Food brings people together, but many families don't know where their next meal is coming from. In Utah, 317,000 people, many of whom are children, are struggling with food insecurity. And Macy's is continuing the tradition of bringing hope to families in need. You can help provide hope by donating to Macy's Harvest of Hope Drive, now through November 30th. All donations will be donated to a local food bank to serve families in our communities. Purchase an icon for any amount or a prepackaged bag of food with items that food pantries need most at any Macy's store or online at Macys.com. Look for items tagged with the Harvest of Hope icon throughout the store. A portion of sales from those items will also be donated to local food pantries. Together, we can make a difference in our communities and provide hope to families and children facing food insecurity. Visit Macys.com or your local Macy's grocery store to learn more.
The temperatures outside have dropped a bunch, and now my family and I are enjoying the benefits of our brand new windows from Advanced Window Products in a different way. During the summer, it was nice to be able to keep the cold air in. Now it's nice to see how much more efficiently we can keep warm air inside. We replaced 20 of our builder-grade windows with high-efficiency windows and a glass door to our backyard with a built-in pet door, and we have just been thrilled with the results. We're already saving on our energy bill. We're helping pay for the windows with the rebate available through Dominion Energy. Our price didn't include any middleman markups because they did the sales and the installation all in-house. My wife and I love that there's a lifetime warranty serviced by their local team, labor, glass, parts included. I promise they're going to treat you right, and you'll have an amazing experience from start to finish, just like I did. Right now is a great time to do it. Also, they're having an end-of-season sale. Save $2,500 on 10 windows or more. 801-850-9100 or advancedwindows.com.
No watering, no mowing. In our drought-ridden state, artificial turf sounds nice, but wait.
They're telling us we have to tear it up.
That's not necessarily the full story.
KSL investigates the red tape around green turf, Thursday at 10.
Feeling frustrated? Ignored? Deceived? It's time to get Gephardt. Get Gephardt, weeknights at 10 on KSL.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, construction is really gumming up the works. Northbound I-15 between 106 South and Sandy, all the way up to the I-215 South interchange in Murray. One right lane is blocked with the orange construction barrels, and everybody has to move to the left, and that's causing some big delays. Good news is we don't have any crashes reported anywhere right now across the Wasatch Front on city streets or major freeways. Bad weather and parking lots love GoPave Utah. GoPave Utah loves snow. Don't wait for bad weather. Schedule your snow removal service with GoPave Utah. Visit GoPaveUtah.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy today and tomorrow with highs in the mid-50s, and there's a chance of rain Friday and Saturday. Right now, 39 degrees, partly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com for Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
I think we've all sat down at the dinner table, or maybe we're dreading sitting down at the Thanksgiving table where a conversation begins and things immediately start to feel contentious. So that's why I'm really glad that I started reading this book a couple of weeks ago called Habits of a Peacemaker, 10 Habits to Change Our Potentially Toxic Conversations into Healthy Dialogues, Dave. And we're going to talk to the author of the book in just a moment, because given the landscape that we're living in today, where we tend to polarize conversations or elevate conversations to a level where it becomes uncomfortable, whether it's over politics, whether it's over our budgets, no matter what it is, that this is giving 10 habits to adapt to and adopt that have really changed my point of view on how I even talk to you.
Okay, that's exactly where I was going, because you and I have had to learn over the last 7 years of how to talk to each other in a productive way, because you and I often have very differing opinions on things, and I will give you all the credit in this because I remember early on we had come off a show and we'd been going at it and battling each other and debating, and you said, when we leave this studio, it's all over. I'm carrying nothing over. And it was this view of the long term. She's like, and you said, if we're going to do this for 25 years,
right,
then we can't hang on to anything.
We can't hate each other.
We can't. And that changed, I think, everything. And you and I have always left any hard feelings or any disagreements. And then it's start fresh. And I thought that was such an incredible lesson for me.
Instant forgiveness is what I call it. Instant forgiveness of Dave. So let's get the title of the book is Habits of a Peacemaker, 10 Habits to Change Our Potentially Toxic Conversations into Healthy Dialogues. Author Stephen Collis, he's also a law professor at the University of Texas at Austin. Thanks so much for calling the show. This is so timely, Professor.
Oh, so happy to be here. Yeah, I mean, most of us are dreading the holidays and all the various conversations we have to have, right? So it's like, hey, it'd be nice if we knew how to navigate those things a little bit better.
Yeah, every single morning, Debbie and I pick the most toxic conversations, and we try to discuss them for 3 hours long. What were some of the things that really stood out to you when we can't avoid, or maybe we shouldn't avoid some of these conversations? What are some of the top things that you that stood out to you when you were writing this book?
Well, you hit on the key right there, which is the whole point of this book is not to teach people how to avoid conversations. It's about how to have them, about hard topics, right, and make them productive. And for me, I'm a First Amendment law professor, which means I spend my time traveling all over the globe talking about some of the most controversial topics we can all imagine in our various cultures. And what I realized is I was having productive conversations with people, and I thought, man, what is it that we're doing? How is it that these people I'm dialoguing with, and what am I doing? What are the habits we're employing? So I spent the last 3 years trying to pin those down. The first and most critical was just what I call intellectual humility, and realizing that on most topics, most of the time, most of us really don't know very much. I would argue most of the time we probably know less than 1% of what we could know about any given topic. But we argue for 4 hours over it, over that 1% that we each know. So much better to take a step back and realize maybe neither of us knows as much as we think we do. So instead of arguing with each other, why don't we do a little research together? Maybe we could pin down this problem, understand it a little bit better. That's a really great starting point.
Professor, there's a quote in the book that I've highlighted in my notes. And you say, when we know nothing about a subject, we tend to have strong opinions about it. I absolutely latched onto that quote because I wondered if when I know nothing about a subject or very little about a subject, I tend to have a strong opinion about it because I'm covering up for my ignorance. What is your take on that?
Yeah, well, there's actually research that shows this. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, and it literally shows that when people gain a little bit of knowledge about a subject, they tend to be way overconfident in their opinions and really get, strongly worded on everything they do. Then as they start to gain more knowledge, their confidence collapses because they realize, wow, there's a whole lot more out there I never even considered. And then as they keep studying a subject, their confidence will go back up, but it goes back up at a healthy level where they see the topic with a much more nuanced view. So there's scientific research that shows every single one of us does exactly that. A little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. It's really important to recognize how little we have on something and not be overconfident in our opinion because we read like one article or watched one YouTube video, right?
Oh, you are speaking to me so much. This is fantastic. We're speaking right now to Stephen Colas. He's a law professor at the University of Texas. Wrote a book, Habits of a Peacemaker, 10 Habits to Change Our Potentially Toxic Conversations into Healthy Dialogues. Now, one thing that I love talking about is humor. When do I use it? When not to use it? How to effectively use it to maybe diffuse some of the intensity of the conversation.
Yes. Well, we strut around the world thinking that there's like two kinds of people, the people that have good senses of humor and the people that don't. And it turns out that there's just different types of humor that people appreciate. So humor is a great way to connect with people, let them know you're a good person, that you can be someone who's laid back and enjoyable to be around. But it's important to know what type of humor people respond to. So a great habit you can get into is talk to people about the kind of shows they watch. Do they love Seinfeld? Do they like The Office? Do they like something like Psych? Just kind of ask questions and then joke around with them about those things. But you have to figure out what type of humor people enjoy. And I'll tell you, here's my confession. I naturally, to people I really like, tend to use sarcasm and like aggressive humor, deprecating humor of others. That has ruined more relationships in my life than anything else. So I had to learn, okay, my type of humor does not do well, and I have to stop using that type of humor and train myself to learn other types of humor. And in the book, I go through the types of humor. So, believe it or not, researchers have actually broken this down, and you can see the different types of humor and figure out what works in different relationships. It can be an incredibly good way to connect with people.
I think I'm on habit 3 in the book. And I'm really trying to work on that. And remind me, is habit 3 about just kind of expecting or assuming that the person sitting next to you, like I'm sitting next to Dave right now, assume the best in them?
Yeah, so one thing I learned about people who are true peacemakers, and I define a peacemaker in the book as someone who can have productive conversations about hard topics, any hard topic, not just politics, but family dynamics, the workplace, whatever. They tend to do what you just said. They tend to assume that other people are coming from a place of good motivation. most of us, most of the time, strut around thinking that there's three types of people in the world. There's the people who agree with us, but then there are fools or monsters, right? Like that's how we strut around this life. And the reality is most people, when you really start to ask how they reached a particular conclusion, tend to have pretty good motivations. So don't get me wrong, there are fools and monsters in the world, but that's not where you want to start, especially with people close to you in your life that you're trying to interact with on a daily basis.
This is a fantastic conversation. Stephen Collis, thank you so much for joining us. Author of Habits of a Peacemaker, 10 Habits to Change Our Potentially Toxic Conversations into Healthy Dialogues. Thank you for joining us.
Dave, we're going to go to breaking news right now. Will you flip over on our Teams channel on our live show chat? We're literally seeing how the sausage is made right now as I'm talking to Dave. And can you read? I'm just having a hard time reading what producer Andy Cupp has put in our Teams channel for breaking news.
Yeah, this is coming from CNN's Manu Raju and Lauren Fox. Senator John Thune wins the Senate leadership race that had kind of come up to three people. Looks like Senator John Thune of South Dakota has won the Senate leadership race, beating Texas Senator John Cornyn. On the second round of votes, Rick Scott had lost in the first round of votes. According to several sources in the room, the vote total was 29-24. So still a very close vote. But, yeah, sure enough, GOP Senator John Thune of South Dakota is going to be the new Senate Majority Leader.
Dave and Dujanovic.
A lot of us are filling our workdays with podcasts.
When you're working, go to KSLNewsRadio.com.
Click on Dave and Debbie's podcast and pick a topic and story length.
Podcast with Dave and Debbie. Then get to work with KSL News Radio.
You guys, you may not have a garage door guy, but now you do. Well,
right.
you may not think about this other than like, why won't it open? Why is my remote disconnected? Why isn't it not opening? Well, Advanced Garage Doors can help you with everything, top to bottom.
And they've got these certified technicians who are available 24/7 with same-day service. And speaking from experience, you never know when your garage door, something is going to give you fits, Dave.
Replacing certain garage door parts by yourself is not safe and should be done by a certified professional. I was just thinking the time I tried to replace the spring that had broken. It was a nightmare. Absolutely, I should have called Advanced Garage Doors.
Any garage door or motor installed by Advanced Doors will include a free inspection and tune-up once a year.
Yeah, that's important. Make sure everything's rolling along. They can clean it out. Really fantastic customer service. Go ahead and reach out to Advanced Garage Doors. Their website is advanced-door.com. That's advanced-door.com.
Or you can give them a call, 801-252-5977. Again, Advanced Garage Doors. That phone number is 801-252-5977.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
A house explosion this afternoon.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
Welcome to the Beaumont Assisted Living and Memory Care, where compassion and care are at the heart of everything they do. The newly remodeled community, now under new management and ownership, is dedicated to creating a safe, home-like environment for every resident, thanks to Beaumont's super caregivers. What is a super caregiver? At the Beaumont, super caregivers are committed to delivering wow experiences. They are flexible, teachable, responsive, and compassionate. They create positive interactions, build staff synergy, and excel in open communication and transparency. The Beaumont super caregivers create fun, smiles, and laughter every day for the ones you care about the most. See for yourself at 1150 South Main in Bountiful, where you're invited to visit and experience the warmth and care the Beaumont provides. Visit thebeaumontassistedliving.com. That's thebeaumontassistedliving.com. The Beaumont Assisted Living and Memory Care, where compassion and care come first.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. Recently, a celebration of a birthday occurred at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse for our family, and the food was absolutely delicious, as we have come to expect. But I realized in reading something about Ruth's Chris, their most popular steak that they serve, it's the New York steak. And I thought, I need to open my horizons. I love the ribeye, but next time I'm going for the New York strip. And they have so much more at Ruth's Chris. Of course, they're a steakhouse, so we talk about steaks. But they have seafood and poultry and specialty dishes, seasonal dishes that you are absolutely going to love. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse with 2 locations, Hotel Park City and downtown Salt Lake City. And during this holiday season that we are approaching, it's time to make sure you have your reservations, maybe a company party, a gathering, or maybe you just want to give a gift card. Get into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, the perfect dining experience.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bonas. First, Davis County residents packed a county commission meeting yesterday to object to having a warming center for unsheltered people in Kaysville. Second, the Utah Jazz lost another home game last night, this one their first in the NBA Cup tournament. And third, Verona Mauga has become the first woman of Samoan heritage elected to serve in the Utah legislature. 39 degrees, partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Right on the money. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Let's talk about, I love this title. Returnless refunds. Have you heard of returnless refunds? This is just, I think as a consumer, this is juicy. I did not know this is a hack. To me, this is like the secret menu at In-N-Out Burger, where people are getting animal style. And I was like, what is that? And then once they told me, that's all I got. That's all I ordered. So we're going to talk about returnless refunds right now that are happening. It's becoming more and more popular, if you will, more of a trend among major retailers across the United States. But what I really want to start with, before we get into all the details, we got to set the tone for this with Dave's banana chair story. Will you do us the honors? This is just too good.
Okay, number one, returnless refunds. It also sounds like a scam.
It's not.
Right? This isn't
Trust
a scam.
me.
This is a real thing.
No, I think you need to hear about this because I think it's going to change the way you refund.
Okay, so this is my banana chair story. My wife bought 2 banana chairs online and had them delivered. Right, the kids love sitting in banana chairs when we play video games.
You act like everybody knows what those are.
You don't know what there's not a person on the planet that doesn't know what a banana chair is. It's the greatest chair ever.
A chair that sits on the ground shaped like a banana?
It's shaped like a J.
Okay.
And it just sits directly on the ground.
So it's not a J chair, it's a banana chair. But
Yeah,
go
no,
ahead.
no,
Okay.
it's not a J chair.
Okay.
And if I'm going to be totally honest, I've had a banana chair that I've sat in probably 20 years. I love banana chairs. So I love them.
Interesting.
Anyway, so we ordered, because mine was worn out, we got 2 banana chairs. One and then the other one for whatever kid's going to play video games with me. They arrive. They are
Barbie doll size?
Barbie would be like, I need something a little bigger. They were the smallest banana chairs in the history of creation. They've never created a smaller banana chair.
And you didn't know this when you ordered them.
No, they look great. They look fine. They arrive, and they are the size of
Teeny tiny.
they're super teeny tiny.
Half a banana.
So I'm like, return these. These are garbage, honey. She's like, I'm not returning these. I don't know how to pack it up. I don't know how to send it back.
Yeah,
I'd already destroyed the boxes. I've thrown them away. I'm like, why would you do all of that when you pulled them out and they were the size of your forearm? Did you think your husband is going to be able to sit in that banana chair? So I'm trying to get her. I'm like, this is, I don't know, we spent $150 on it.
Oh,
I'm like, send these back. This is wasted money. No one will ever sit in these things. And she wouldn't. We ended up hanging on to 2 banana chairs that we never, ever sat in, ever, because we couldn't figure out how to return them. And I think it was some false advertising when they were selling it. They're like, these are big and cushy and cuddly.
No, we've all done that, Dave.
So anyway, we would have returned them. We couldn't figure out how to do it.
What if you would have hopped on the app and started the return process, and then you would have found out they said, oh, well, we're going to return your money, but you can keep the chairs.
That would have been amazing.
So that
I wouldn't have kept the chairs.
Well,
given them away,
Yeah, but you would have gotten your refund.
Yes.
And you would have kept the chairs. Now, it might not work under what I'm reading here, but we're going to walk through it because of the limit.
Mm-hmm.
But this returnless refund are reportedly very underpublicized.
Is this through Amazon or is it online?
So
Okay.
Amazon, Walmart, and Target are the retailers that have been highlighted in this story. It's underpublicized, but it is a practice that is helping retailers cut the costs of returns and processing shipping back to the store or back to the warehouse, wherever they're going to put them. So I've had this happen before where I ordered something from Amazon, and here's how it went. It was like a shirt. It wasn't a very expensive item. But when I jumped on there to return it, I think I had a question or something about my return. And the associate said, keep the product, and we're going to issue the return anyway. We do not want the product back. Now, it was a very, very low price, low cost item. But what's happening is that they're expanding the amount of money that they'll allow to be returnless refunded. $75 according to Amazon. Amazon has expanded the program to third-party sellers, and they did that in August. So Amazon has third-party sellers to under $75. And then Walmart, they say, also introduced a similar option for its marketplace sellers in January. So these are lower-cost items, and they also they might not resell. They might not have an easy resell path. So they're cutting their losses with you. They're giving you the refund, and they're saying don't even bother to return it. So you keep the item and you get the refund. What do you think of that?
I love it. I think that's really smart because I've never purchased anything large since the banana chair debacle of 2019, right? It's changed the way we buy things. Now, there's people that I know that buy couches and have them delivered to their house. I don't know who that person is. Oh, wait, do you know somebody, Deb? You know someone that's purchased
it was a rare mistake that I made. Let's talk about it when we take live phone calls. But, man, it was literally like I was stuck in.
You think Phil's going to come out and see a shadow? Punxsutawney Phil. That's right.
I was stuck in Groundhog Day several years ago after I ordered a couch online and got delivered and then couldn't put the thing together. That's another story for 7 minutes from now. But there are actually real-world examples that they cite. There was a business owner in New York, got a returnless refund for a $300 desk from Amazon. And it apparently had arrived with some missing pieces. I've had that happen before. Usually I go out to my prolific workbench and grab an extra part or a nail or something that I have in there.
You MacGyver it. Okay.
I MacGyver, I glue it, whatever. and the replacement was unavailable. The replacement part was unavailable, so they approved the returnless refund. I love this practice. I think you hit it spot on, Dave, is that it'll keep you in the mix for buying things online because, first of all, it's just good customer service. It feels good, right?
Yeah.
It feels like you're winning.
Right.
Anytime a customer feels like they're winning, no matter what the circumstances, I think that's good for business. But the second thing is like that you are going to go back there and go like, hey, this is our mistake, but they made good. They helped us out. But I'm going to go back and order an extra large banana chair now because I feel good about what just happened. So I think it's a win-win.
I think what it is, it's a little turn on the phrase. It's a pound wise and a penny foolish. Sure, you're giving up a little bit of money here, but in the long term, you have a customer that is willing to buy more and more and bigger things and have them delivered to your house. Because, again, it was such a bad experience that I don't buy things online, big things online, because I know if it doesn't work out, it's going to be a nightmare to ship off.
Straight ahead, my couch debacle that went on for days and days trying to get my couch returned to where I bought it from. But also taking your live calls. What's your hack to master your returns? 801-575-TALK, 801-575-TALK. Let's talk about life hacks when it comes to returning merchandise. Straight ahead.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bonas. KSL's top national story this hour. We have breaking news. Republican Senator John Thune has been elected as the next Senate Majority Leader. South Dakota Senator will be a key partner for President-elect Donald Trump over the next 4 years. President-elect Trump met with President Biden today at the White House. The president welcomed Trump to the Oval Office, where Trump said he was looking forward to a smooth transition process. Earlier, the president-elect met with Republican House members at the U.S. Capitol. A wild car chase ended in an accident last night in West Valley City. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit reports.
A stolen vehicle collided with another driver near 900 West and 300 North last night. This was the end of a chase involving officers and even a public safety helicopter. At one point, the occupants of the stolen vehicle got out and ran before officers could stop them. The driver resumed the chase before finally crashing and getting sent to the hospital.
And the driver of the other vehicle also wound up going to the hospital. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up now 174 points on the day, while the NASDAQ is up, but just by 16. And our KSL weather, we're going to see a sunny day with some clouds around. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:31.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
You want fast? Soda Weight Loss delivers fast results. I just got a reminder on my phone from a year ago. I had started the program in September. By this time, I had already let go of 30 pounds of fat weight on my way to letting go of 70. My friend John Smith, how did it go for you?
You know what's funny is you'd think that would be like a very rare occurrence for you to lose that much in that amount of time. But I started on August 28th. I am down 32 pounds.
Because Soda tailors it to each customer. That's what's so great about it. It stands for state of the art. And here's the kicker. No drugs, shots, pills, or crazy side effects. It's fast, easy, and convenient. You won't be hungry. You don't count calories. And it's designed for a busy lifestyle. Here's the thing. Go check it out for yourself. SOTAweightloss.com. That's SOTAweightloss.com. Request a nutritionist callback and ask them about Soda's biggest savings of the year on the holiday special. Remember, John, Soda, say it with me. State of the art.
That was fun.
How does a soccer club born in an unlikely place?
Utah? You sure you want to do that in Utah?
Built with players no one else wanted.
We knew no one believed in us.
Reach the league's highest heights.
We finally did it. It was like just this feeling of getting to the top of the mountain.
Russell has made a champion out of Real Salt Lake. How does that same team find a way to shatter expectations in the midst of a fight for its own survival?
Our club is burning to the ground as we speak.
I'm Amy Donaldson, and in a new podcast, Making of a Moment, the RSL story, we take a closer look at one of those iconic sports moments.
Soccer is a crazy game, and we saw it firsthand tonight.
And unravel how knowing the truth of these moments can transform what they mean.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now. Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Heather Kelly.
Looks like we may have a crash on the 201 freeway. This is westbound, right near 3200 West in the construction zone. We're seeing a lot of delay on 201 westbound from Redwood Road and also on the connecting route from I-215 heading south, trying to hook onto the 201 freeway westbound. Then you have your construction delays northbound I-15 from 90th South in Sandy up to the I-215 South interchange where just the right lane is blocked. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy today and tomorrow with highs in the mid-50s, and there's a chance of rain Friday and Saturday. 41 degrees and mostly cloudy right now. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. Right on the money. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
We're talking about something I hadn't heard of until I read this article about returnless refunds. And more stores are starting to do it. It just kind of reminds me of the secret menu at In-N-Out Burger. So to me, this was news. They do say it's pretty well under-publicized, but what more stores are doing, like Amazon, Walmart, and Target, they've got these policies that you return an item, you go to return the item on the app, and then they just, the bot tells you, oh, keep the item and we're still going to issue you the refund. I'm like, score. And now they're expanding the programs. In fact, Amazon is allowing third-party sellers, they have these third-party sellers, of course, on their website, to do it for purchases under $75. We're taking your live calls, 801-575-TALK. What is your hack when it comes to mastering your returns?
I'll tell you this. There are people out there that are so expert at returning stuff, they just order everything online. And then they know exactly how to package it up and what you do have to do, what you don't have to do, where you drop it off. And I want to steal all of your great ideas because I love shopping online. I love it. I love ordering it, having it delivered to me, all of that. It's just when I want to return something, it's such a hassle. Yeah. So often what I do is I eat it. It's just the price of doing business.
I just keep the item.
I just keep the item or I throw it away, I give it away, whatever I do, but I don't hassle with returning. So 801-575-TALK. Let me know your hacks. Give me your life hacks on how to return stuff. Anna Lee in Riverton.
Hi.
What's your experience?
Well, my husband owned an interior and flooring store for lots and lots of years. And big companies actually, when the item costs more to return, let's say a whole roll of carpet would come in with a flaw all the way through. So he would contact the company and they would say just field waste it because it would cost him more to return it than to keep it. So I think, like Debbie said, with large things like couches too, a lot of your retail companies will do that because they don't want to pay for the shipping back. So that's my thing, is just know how to ask the right questions when you're talking to different companies.
I love that. Thank you so much, Annalie. And I really feel like I wish the company would have let me keep the couch, but I'll get into that in a second and what that disaster was like in my garage trying to set that thing up for days on end. I had to call in some reinforcements, my son. He came over and he looked at me. He's like, Mom, give it up. We'll talk about how that went in just a second. Maria, I want to hear your tips. What's your hack for your refunds?
Well, I just had a funny story. My son had a neighbor who ordered a mattress through Amazon, and the mattress came, and it was just too firm for them. So they contacted Amazon, and they gave him a full refund and said, keep it. And
What?
they had no use for it, so they gave my son the mattress. My son just got a brand new king-size mattress for free.
This is incredible.
So this is awesome. Yeah, great job for your son. That gets a free mattress.
It's my mattress. When I go to visit, it's the guest bed.
Well, there you go.
Way
Even
to go,
better.
Mom. Way to go, Mom. Mom
That's
scores
never
the
the
mattress.
case. Usually you get the the one with the sunken center.
The twin bed.
Yeah, you wake up and your back's out. It's miserable. So thanks, Maria, for the phone call. The problem, and the thing that I would worry about in this, Debbie, is how many companies can absorb that kind of cost, where they send out $1,000 mattress and they can just say, no, that's fine, you keep it.
Well, here's an idea, Dave. According to this, U.S. consumers, you and me and others, returned $743 billion worth of merchandise in 2022. So it's 14% of our purchases. They're making money on us. If we're returning $743 billion, but worth of merchandise, that's a lot of profit. But let me tell you this: they've also put guardrails in place, and that is that it depends on your customer history. Like, are you a frequent flyer when it comes to returns? They might get suspicious of that. That's one of the things they look at. Yeah, they just try to keep this in line. They're not going to probably give it to somebody who does this all the time in order to keep the product and then resell it somewhere else and get the return. So it sounds like they've put some guardrails in place. Got more calls.
That's a key,
Do we
right?
have a call?
Do we have a call? I just saw a text.
Oh,
here.
we got a text that came in.
Yeah.
Can you read it?
Yeah. My daughter ordered an office chair. It was close to $300 when she got it. It was unassembled, as these things typically are.
Mm-hmm.
So she put it together and she tried it out. She said it was horribly uncomfortable and she was going to return it. But then she looked, this is funny. There was a little stipulation. If the item has been put together, the chair is not returnable.
What?
That was like, you can return it, but not once you've put it together. So the texter says, my daughter was willing to pay the shipping and everything, but it was just a no return.
Yeah.
That was a couple years ago. And the advice is make sure you check the return policies.
Oh, so look at it before you start pulling everything out of the box and the parts are all over the front room of your house and you don't know if you have all the parts or not. Make sure you're checking the return policy. That's good advice.
Because so often you will see, return within 90 days or try it out for 30 days and return it afterwards. But you got to make sure, okay, well, what do you mean? Is there going to be a restocking fee? Because sometimes companies will do that as well. Go ahead and return it, but we're going to charge you a 20% restocking fee. But we're talking about returnless refunds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the key here, I thought, Deb, and I want to get to your story quickly, is you've got to track this and make sure people are not taking advantage.
And they are.
Yeah.
They said they use an algorithm to check a customer's return history. And I'm sure that's probably a way to make sure, like I said, you're not a frequent flyer returning everything, and then what the cost is of the item, what the cost is in terms of shipping it. If items were shipped, does it exceed the product value? Whether it's a single use product, you hope they're not. There's probably certain items that they're allowing you to keep and others that they don't for whatever reason. So. Great tips today so far, but I've got my story. Do we have any more phone calls? Thumbs up. We got our producers behind the glass on the line. Let's squeeze another phone call in just a second. But so I ordered this sofa online. It was a sofa for my back deck, and I had been looking for months. And when I purchase something like that, it literally, I'm paralyzed, Dave, with fear to buy anything online like that, knowing it would come needing assembly.
Yeah.
So I get it, and it comes in, I believe, 4 or 5 separate, not quite the size of a refrigerator box. And it shows up on my front lawn, and I scoot it one by one like a choo-choo train into my garage. I dump everything out, and I take out the instructions, and I say to myself, my kids are all adults at this point, and I try not to lean on them too much for help. Mama's got this. She's got this. So I start assembling this thing, and it literally becomes like...
It's going to be cold. It's going to be gray.
Groundhog Day.
And it's going to last you for the rest of your life.
I'm out in the garage day and night, day and night.
Phil's gonna come out and see a shadow.
I just,
Tony Phil. That's right.
I'm stuck in Groundhog Day. Day after day after day, trying to assemble this, and there's just no way it's going together. I'm YouTubing it. I am contacting the manufacturer. I finally call my son over, and he tries to put this thing together. He looks at me. He's like, "Mom, you don't have all the. There's no way this thing is going together." So I did what your wife didn't do with the banana chairs, and I packed it all back in one piece at a time, which gave me such a headache to try to pack it back into all of the boxes, one piece at a time. The boxes were bowing on the top. I was sitting on them up and down, trying to tape these things together. I finally get them all taped together. I sit the return in the app. I get the return going, and I'm every single day, Dave, for a week, I push these boxes down my driveway one at a time at 4 o'clock in the morning because I have to be at work here at Broadcast House way before the sun comes up. And every day I return home at 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, and these boxes are still camped on the front of my driveway. So I push them up into the garage, and then the next morning I do the same thing. And this goes on for the better part of a week. And what I found out...
It's no amount of money that you need back.
I wanted a returnless refund at this point. Like, please give me a returnless refund. And what I found out is I had totally, in the app, messed up the return. I had totally messed up the return and said, like, I'll take this to Whole Foods and drop this off. Like, there's no way that's going to happen.
Right.
So they fixed it. They finally came and got all of the boxes. But trust me, I was begging for the returnless refund. They just were not going to give it to me.
Dave and Dujanovic.
You know KSL is the only news radio for your car, right?
The only news radio for your smart speaker.
Come here in the morning. It's the latest news and traffic. In the afternoon, news and updated weather.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
If you're ready to buy or sell a home and you're worried about the current real estate market because of what you've heard from some of your family or friends or maybe even on the news, well, we're here to tell you that you really shouldn't be worried because now is a great time to buy and sell with our friends at the Stern team powered by Omada Real Estate.
And here's why. Buyers have more options due to increased inventory, which gives them the power to negotiate for repairs, interest rate buy-downs, and closing cost assistance, while at the same time, sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes with home values that are higher today than ever before. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, the current real estate market presents a win-win opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
But you still do want to make sure that you're working with a team of real estate experts you can trust that get you some great results, and that's our friends at the Stern team powered by Omada Real Estate.
They've helped thousands of Salt Lake City homeowners, and they are ready to help you. To get started, just go to thesternteam.com or Google the Stern Team.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Advanced Window Products. $2,500 off 10 windows or more. AdvancedWindows.com. Affordable windows, guaranteed.
Social Security is with you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
I'm Dave Cawley, investigative journalist and host of the podcast Cold. In October of 1985, a woman named Cherie Warren left work at a busy Salt Lake City office
to meet her estranged husband at a downtown auto dealership.
She never made it home. Cherie's car surfaced weeks later in Las Vegas.
In the parking lot of a hotel casino.
No one knows how it got there.
Strange. It was strange.
Both Cherie's estranged husband and her boyfriend raised suspicion for investigators.
I kind of thought that he might have done something.
But no arrests were ever made. In Cold Season 3, we dig into double lives, make new connections in the case, and examine the difficulty raised by reasonable doubt.
We want answers just as much as anyone else.
They have creeps like that now too, so nothing's changed.
That's the new Cold Season 3, The Search for Cherie, now available anywhere you get your podcasts.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, the U.S. Senate has a new majority leader, Senator John Thune of South Dakota. Second, President Biden and President-elect Trump held a cordial meeting today at the White House. And third, a wild car chase started in Salt Lake City last night, wound up in West Valley, involving police from multiple agencies as well as a helicopter. 41 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
There's been a controversy marinating in Davis County, and we're going to talk about it right now, and it's actually bubbled up. And it's over a Code Blue warming center in Kaysville. And originally, this debate actually started in Fruit Heights when a church was going to open up its warming center, and then that got pushed back, so the church decided about a week ago, no, we're not going to do that. And now this warming center is set to open up in Kaysville, and residents came out to a meeting, and they were heated over it.
See what other people have to say. This is ridiculous. We don't want answers. We don't want the shelter.
One that you choose to listen to rather than the 100 people in front of you.
And this is for people who are experiencing homelessness. These warming centers would be opened up when the temperatures drop into the teens.
And we spoke with Kaysville Mayor Tammy Tran, and one of the things she wanted to make very clear is, listen, a warming center is not a resource center. This is something that is basically on very bitterly, dangerously cold nights, a place where people can go and stay warm, because obviously life is the key here. But it does not have the resources of, more prolonged places.
Representative Steve Ellison on the line with us right now. You were really shepherding this from Capitol Hill, Representative, to make sure this got written into law. So these warming centers are mandated, correct, across the state?
Yeah, thanks, Debbie. So a part of the state. So counties, the first and second class, which is Weber, Davis, Salt Lake, and Utah counties. And they, in 2023, I sponsored HB 499 that required these four largest counties to come up with winter response overflow plans. The most predictable crisis that we've been facing in this space, sadly, for years, is that the earth is going to tilt and it's going to get cold, and we're going to have people that are living on the streets without a place to go. And the model that has been effectively in place for years is the people have migrated to Salt Lake County because there have been beds here and resources. And as we've focused on this issue, we said this isn't just a Salt Lake City issue. This is a statewide issue. And if you remember, not terribly long ago, there was a judge up in Jackson Hole that was putting people on buses and sending them to Salt Lake that were homeless. And he's like, well, they have, resources down there. We don't have them up here. And there was a lot of outrage in the state over that. Well, that's to a degree what has just naturally happened when these large counties haven't had resources for individuals experiencing homelessness. And so the legislature said, no, we want these large counties to come up with a plan. And it doesn't have to be a year-round shelter. It has to be at least a winter response plan when people are at most risk for freezing to death. Utah County has now gone through this process and have a plan in place. Of course, LA County's had a plan for many years, and so that's kind of what's led us to this controversy.
So is it left up to the county to select the location in which city is affected?
Yes, and these are local issues. The state shouldn't own this. I mean, the state has stepped in because the problem has continued to grow and grow, and there's been increases in crime and people that have frozen to death, and there was a collective desire. It's like, this is unacceptable. We can do better than this. But the legislature's in session for 33 working days a year, and we want the local officials to address these issues head on. And so we put a nudge in this bill to say, no, you need to come up with a plan, and if you don't, we'll come up with one for you. Well, which they don't want to do.
Representative, at this point in Kaysville, it appears that they've selected this county emissions building. We spoke earlier to the Kaysville mayor, Tammy Tran, and she feels like there's still maybe more work to be done, that this controversy isn't over yet, that there may be another solution they come up with. But then she said something about one of the suggestions was using buses, and I'm going to play this portion of our conversation for you. And I asked her, buses to house people experiencing homelessness?
Hey, what about a warming bus? Now, a dignity bus, it's obviously not on the table anymore. Some people don't like it, but we had consensus amongst the 15 cities that this would be a great way to help people to fulfill the law, to keep people alive. The requirement is not to provide housing. It's to provide a bed at night to keep people alive during a code blue night. It's not to provide rehabilitation or to help people to the next step. It's just step one, keep people alive, and that's what we suggested. Yeah.
And in that, you didn't hear me ask if it was like a warming bus. What's your reaction to, or a bus, I guess? What is your reaction to the pitch of using buses for this?
I think there would be a lot of questions to answer and a lot of concerns about that. That would require probably a whole new set of licensing rules regarding safety, and then it would beg the question, where would it park? What about, sanitation facilities? That was one I really hadn't heard of before. I think it also begs the question, though, is like the state simply said, we don't want people camping and being unsheltered in our streets. We want them to at least have a place to go. And, that's just the first step. I mean, there's nothing to stop these counties from stepping up to the plate saying, you know what, if we want, we can't arrest our way out of this problem. And so finding additional resources at the county level is really what we want to see in terms of not just shelter, but additional resources to help people step out of homelessness permanently and back into our community. So while, the bus, I guess, sounds like it's off the table, I hope that they are looking beyond simply just sheltering people for night, saying, what do we do to help these people step back into our communities for good?
So you're hoping that this would grow from just a temporary help during the winter to something more robust on the county level, where they are providing resources and maybe even more long-term housing?
Correct. And if you look at, the rates of homelessness in the state with our price of housing, the cost of rent, what a lot of people don't know is that the vast majority of people experiencing homelessness kind of look like us. They're families that are on the edge, and they're one paycheck away from an eviction. If they can go to a resource center for, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, work with a case manager to help them find a new apartment or place to live. That's what just most people need, is just that temporary help to bridge them to the next, residence, their next home. And we do have the chronically homeless, though, that are often suffer from serious mental illness and substance use disorders. So it's a complex issue, but I'm hoping that these larger counties step up and look at the full continuum, those that are chronically homeless and those that are experiencing temporary homelessness, because with one of the most expensive housing markets in the nation, this unfortunately will probably just become a growing problem. So I hope that they're not waiting for the legislature to continue to solve these problems that really should be dealt with at the local level.
Representative Steve Elison, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And we'll continue to follow this as the story continues to unfold. Of course, you can hear more this afternoon on your ride home with Jeff Kaplan, who takes over the microphone at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Straight ahead, President-elect Donald Trump appointing entrepreneurs Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to his new Department of Government Efficiency. What's that all about? That's up next. With Inside Sources, Adam Gardner.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bonas. KSL's top story this hour. A couple of Utah names have been floated as possible members of former President Trump's new administration. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
We know that President-elect Trump's transition team has reached out to former Utah Congressman Chris Stewart about potentially becoming the Director of National Intelligence. An anonymous source confirmed the two sides were in talks about the role. Stewart retired from the U.S. House a year ago due to his wife's health. Utah Senator Mike Lee's name's also on a short list for U.S. Attorney General. Though Lee told the Deseret News he's not looking to let go of his seat right now, saying, quote, "I have the job I want, and I look forward to working in the next Congress with President Trump." Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Utah has elected the first woman of Samoan heritage to serve in a state legislature in the United States. Democrat Verona Mauga was elected to represent Utah House District 31. She called it a historic moment, said she'll commit to help creating opportunities for all Utahns. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Investigators have been finding human bones linked to as many as 20 missing people on a property in southeastern New Mexico. Cecil Villanueva is suspected of discarding bones out of a vehicle, with other bones discovered when police served a search warrant on a property tied to Villanueva. They could also be linked to the 2019 disappearance of Angela McMains, who lived near that property. Your money at this moment. The Dow Jones average up on the day now, 221 points. The NASDAQ is up 52. And our KSL weather looks like we'll see partly cloudy skies, and it'll be a lot warmer than yesterday. Anyway, that's next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Hello, car donation hotline.
Hi, I'd like to donate a car to the Utah Kidney Foundation. Are you in Utah?
Awesome. Let's get some info and we'll send you a tow truck.
But I want my car donation to benefit my neighbor in Farmington who needs a transplant. Are you in Utah?
That's a gnaw. I'm in SoCal, but you're still donating to charity.
What charity?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, I want my donation to stay in Utah.
Righteous dude. You need to call Tow Cars in Utah. Locals only, am I right?
Oh, yeah. I remember tow cars with a K like kidney. It's on a billboard somewhere. TOWKARS.org. That's it. Towcars.org.
If you'd like your vehicle donation to help Utah kidney patients in the Beehive State, please use the web address on their billboard, towcars.org, to donate your old car or truck. That's TOWK like kidney, ARS. Towcars.org.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
so you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that catch-up.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Winter's on the way. Soon the snow will be falling where? On your roof. If you need a new one, now's the time to call IWC Roofing. See, the shingle companies raise prices January 1st, but IWC will lock in this year's prices, even if you want your new roof next spring. And if you book now, they'll also give you an extra $2,000 off. $2,000 off IWC's already low prices. As the #1 residential roofing contractor in Utah, they get volume discounts on shingles and pass the savings on to you. Plus $2,000 off and you lock in this year's prices. IWC is one of the very few Owens Corning Platinum certified roofers in the state. Their precision teams are so skilled they'll re-roof your home in a single day. They'll send you pictures from the roof so you know exactly what you're getting, and then they'll power wash your driveway just to say thanks. Call now, 801-232-5690. That's 801-232-5690, or go to iwcroofingyutah.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, traffic is at a standstill right now on the 201 freeway, both eastbound and westbound, trying to approach 3200 west. So if you're heading eastbound, you're going to hit that wall of traffic just after 5600 west, all the way to 3200. And then if you're westbound, Redwood Road to 3200 west is just barely moving right now. Haven't heard of any crashes. It's in that construction zone, so maybe some of the barrels have been shifted a little bit, and it's taking people a while to adjust to that. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy today and tomorrow with highs in the mid-50s. There's a chance of rain Friday and Saturday. And right now, we're at 43 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories. On KSL News Radio, Dave and Dujanovic have inside sources.
Dave's been really wanting to talk about President Trump, President-elect Trump. In fact, we're waiting for him to say a few words, at least, in front of the White House. He's wrapping up a meeting with President Joe Biden at the White House. But you've been wanting to talk about him standing up this Department of Government Efficiency. The acronym, probably not ironically, is DOGE.
The new crypto. No, the old worthless crypto. Yeah, Doge is funny because
that's
Elon Musk, that was kind of his little pet thing. He
Dogecoin.
Yeah, Dogecoin.
So what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, I think it is probably the most important thing that Trump will do.
Really?
I think it is absolutely crucial because so often when we've had these conversations about the economy, the thing that you keep bringing up is, okay, great. What does that mean about inflation? What does it do for the economy? And the government has two levers when it comes to inflation. They can print money or they can cut spending, right? Those are the two things they can do. And they have been printing money hand over fist, so to speak, at about $2 trillion a year. And then they wonder, why is inflation biting us? Why is it so bad? Well, because you keep spending money we don't have. So the idea of looking through all these government agencies and figuring out a way to slim it down and basically chop it in half maybe, or at least by a third, to get our spending in alignment with what we're bringing in through taxes. This, I think, is the single most important thing that Trump will do.
He put out a rather long statement about this, and I read it last night. Our producers are bringing the actual statement in because I did want to read right from President-elect Trump's statement, but I will read from Reuters, a news organization. Many have written about this. So the new department would work with the White House and Office of Management and Budget to drive large-scale structural reform and create an entrepreneurial approach to government never seen before.
And what they mean by that is, or this is what my interpretation is, when Elon Musk purchased Twitter, he cut 2/3 of the staff. He just chopped it off. He said, we're getting rid of 2/3 of the staff, fired them. People were furious. And guess what still works today? Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, right? It still functions on 1/3 of the staff. That's incredible. Can you imagine if we could do that in government?
Hi, Adam.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Adam Gardner, political insider and co-host of Inside Sources today. Dave brings up Twitter or X. I think that might be debatable. I'm not sure how that would translate over into government efficiency. But what's your inside take on this?
Well, it's been interesting because in the federal government, a lot of times they understand that outsiders, that entrepreneurs, that private industry can do things better than government, which is why they've outsourced so many things. Elon Musk understands this very well. NASA wasn't able to reuse rockets. SpaceX got a contract. They were able to do it for cheaper, more efficiently, and actually perform the tasks that they were assigned, which NASA could not do. So he gets that entrepreneurial spirit. Government on its own is not entrepreneurial. It is not designed to move quickly, to move fast, to be nimble. It is large, industrious, spends, and wastes. Donald Trump has been guilty of this in his past term. On, let's say, $16 trillion in revenue, he spent somewhere around $24 trillion and added $8 trillion to the debt in 4 years. That's a huge problem. Conservatives had a real problem with Donald Trump this time around, not trusting him to actually save money or cut spending because he hasn't done it in the past. By bringing on Elon Musk, who has a record of doing this, a record of cutting, and Vivek Ramaswamy, he's showing that he's kind of serious about that. Vivek Ramaswamy is an interesting choice. I think he kind of just owes him something. I don't know what he'll actually cut. He talks a big game. I don't know what he's actually been able to do or cut in his life. So I'm excited to see that. The ironic thing here is, and Dave, you kind of hit this on the head a little bit, it could be the most consequential thing he does in his presidency. But the funniest part to me was you create a Department of Government Efficiency, and you do that by doing two ironic things. One, you create a whole new government department to be more efficient, which is very ironic to me. And then you put two people in a CEO role, which no organization functions with two CEOs. So I want to see this thing play out. I hope that it works. As a budget hawk and a guy who doesn't like spending money, I hope this is effective. But those two moves alone make me very worried. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But a bold move, and I think that's what the American people voted for.
Dave, can I just cite this from President-elect Trump's statement on this new Department of Government Efficiency? He says that they're going to partner with the White House and provide guidance and advice from outside of government. So it doesn't sound like they're going to be the ones, Musk and Ramaswamy, in there, slicing out government waste. What they're going to be doing, Adam, is making recommendations by July 4th of 2026 to President Trump. So is my read on that right? It's more of like take a look, poke around, maybe do some audits, and then make some recommendations to the president?
Yes, and I don't know what type of authority they would even had to do like audits or anything like that. I don't know what authority they would have to actually go into the Department of Interior or the EPA or DOD and actually interview people and cut things. I don't know what type of authority they'd have. They'd have to be, government employees or specific government contractors. But I like that process of just being the recommenders. Anyone that is well positioned politically can make recommendations to the Office of Management and Budget. And depending on how the president instructs the OMB to actually negotiate or listen to these people, they're going to take their orders from the president. So if the president is making it very clear, these two are my guys, listen to them, and I want to see in a year and a half how you're following their recommendations or there's going to be consequences, then you can bet executive staff is going to follow the recommendations to the best of their ability.
Well, again, speaking to the irony of trying to figure out how to make government work more efficient by adding more government, there also is a government accountability office that serves Congress that is supposed to do this very thing, and make sure we're spending money where we're spending money, and where there is waste, fraud, and abuse, they're supposed to find that. So why has it been so ineffective for so many decades?
Well, government does this all the time, and it's one of the biggest issues I have with the feds. What they'll do is, like, you take Simpson Bowles, for example, a bipartisan commission that said, how can we get our budget under control? How can we cut spending? How can we, prevent runaway inflation? So we put this committee together. We let them study the problems and then make recommendations to Congress, and then Congress politely says thank you and then shoves it in the drawer, never to talk about it again. That has to end. If this is a new, complete way to get that to end, I hope that happens. Congress, it's so hard to get something passed through Congress, but if the president can make a case to the American people directly and actually call out things that are wasting money and here's efficiencies, and you better call your congressman and have them actually report to you on how they're fixing the problem, maybe that just might work.
Adam Gardner, thank you. It just might work. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm holding out any hope. It just might work. So thank you so much for joining us. Adam will be co-hosting with Greg Skordas later on today on Inside Sources starting at 1.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave and Debbie go out of their way to make sure you hear all sides of a story.
They're working the phones to get several viewpoints on for you.
Hi, it's Tim and Amanda. We get you the full story, too.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
We have some very exciting news for you. Master Electrical Service has joined Mountain Home Services.
And we love this partnership because it not only means that they can install those electric outlets that you've been needing or move some recessed lighting around for you, but it also means they can work on your HVAC, your heating and air, your plumbing.
Yeah, your water quality, you name it. They can take care of so many of these things with Mountain Home Services. And that expertise allows them to get into the fireplace business, which is something that's very exciting, especially as the weather turns cold.
Yeah, I know. It's just chilly enough outside to start thinking about getting that fireplace installed. Maybe it's just in time for the holidays, right? What is so amazing about this, too, is it all comes with your upfront pricing guarantee, which means no hidden fees.
100% satisfaction guarantee. They are the company that we trust, and so can you. Mountain Home Services. Check them out online at mountainhomeutah.com.
Or you can always give them a call at 801-543-2222. Again, 801-543-2222.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
A house explosion this afternoon.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
Don't wait! Hot Tub Factory Outlet and Backyards of America have teamed up for the biggest Black Friday sale ever. If you've been dreaming of a hot tub or swim spa, now is the time to buy. You can shop those other stores, but why would you want to? At our sale, every single Sundance hot tub and swim spa on our showroom floor is on sale. With incredible savings of 20, 30, 40, even 50% off MSRP. Yes, you heard right. 20 to 50% off MSRP. Be sure to check out our scratch and dent and floor model blowouts. That saves you thousands. Choose from 20 amazing options. Plus, we'll remove your old hot tub for free. Come see our one-of-a-kind Sundance Swim Spa showroom. We have fantastic rates for those looking to use our financing, too. Visit Hot Tub Factory Outlet next to Cowabunga Bay in Draper. Our new location in Farmington at Station Bar. And Backyards of America in Sandy off 90th South. Don't miss out on this incredible sale. Hurry in while the sale is hot.
Ooh, we got a question. Brian W. asks, it's the holiday season and I'm looking for deals. Is Xfinity having a Black Friday sale?
Well, Brian, we got you covered. Get iPhone 16 Pro on us. Just ask us how. Plus, you can also get fast, reliable Xfinity Internet with a line of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited for a great low price.
So don't wait. Bring home a new iPhone 16 Pro built for Apple Intelligence.
And connect to reliable 5G and Wi-Fi speeds up to a gig on Xfinity Mobile.
That's a big deal.
More like a gig deal.
Now through December 3rd, ask how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us with an unlimited Plus line. Plus, get Xfinity Gigabit Internet with free Wi-Fi equipment for only $25 a month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add unlimited mobile. Go to Xfinity.com/Black Friday sale to learn more. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Gig Wi-Fi requires Xfinity Gateway. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Gig speeds available via hotspots to Xfinity Mobile customers only. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Actual internet speeds and data thresholds may vary.
$100,163. That is the average amount of money a person saves on taxes in retirement with Boss Retirement Solutions. Discover how much money you could save with a free, customized retirement tax savings analysis. If you've saved more than $200,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. 801-896-9622. Boss Retirement Solutions is a 5-time winner of the Utah Best of State Award, and they have 7 offices throughout the Wasatch Front. $100,163. That is the average amount of money a person saves on taxes in retirement with Boss. So let's find out how much money you could save. Call 801-896-9622. That number again, 801-896-9622.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors. See website disclaimer for details.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bonas. First, some names from Utah reportedly under consideration as President-elect Trump assembles his cabinet. Second, Verona Mauga will be the first woman of Samoan heritage to serve in a state legislature anywhere in the United States. And third, investigators have been finding human bones on a property in rural New Mexico. 43 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Well, we got word from the University of Utah Police Department that they have made an arrest in this water bottle throwing incident that happened during the rivalry game, the University of Utah and BYU rivalry game. It was all caught on video by Cougar fan Jessica Hellewell, who was there and recorded a video of this water bottle, being thrown from the stands.
Fans are throwing water bottles. That girl's not hitting the face with a water bottle.
And not only did that water bottle hit this coach in the head, it dropped her. I mean, it was flying through, hit her in the head, and she just dropped. And I thought, there is absolutely no possible way they'll ever find that person. There's 45,000 people at that game, even though there's a million different phones that are recording the whole thing. Everyone's wearing red. There's no way. But sure enough, it looks like they've made an arrest and they have a suspect.
And that video, we found that video at on Deseret News' website, Deseret.com, and they've been doing a lot of coverage on it. That's the latest developments, and including this 18-year-old who's been arrested and allegedly for assault. I mean, so he's going to be charged, if he hasn't been charged already, apparently with assault. He's not a University of Utah student. But the direction I want to take this, and we're also going to be taking calls at 11:35 from listeners, is you've got now an arrest of a fan who's now accused of throwing that water bottle. We'll set that aside for just a minute because these are two unrelated circumstances. But then you have the fine that was levied by the league involving the athletic director for the University of Utah, Mark Harlan, fining him for statements that he made, in front of cameras on a microphone after the University of Utah lost to BYU on Saturday night.
We were excited about being in the Big 12, but
Tonight, I am not. We won this game. Someone else stole it from us.
So it makes me wonder if you got the fine and then the arrest of this 18-year-old Dave, is this what the message or that what needs to happen in order to change conduct involving, rivalries like the one we saw on Saturday night or just sporting events in general?
Arrests won't change it.
Hmm.
Words from the university president won't change it. And quite honestly, the only person that I think that can change it is the head coach of each football team. I think the players, the fans, they take their cues from the head coach. Now, that may feel like a lot of pressure on the head coach, but it is absolutely crucial. And let me explain why I think this way. BYU and Utah have had a rivalry for generations, but it really didn't get good until Lavelle Edwards and Ron McBride. And let me explain that. Lavelle Edwards, obviously Hall of Fame football coach. Ron McBride, a legend up at the University of Utah. BYU would have some of the best battles over the years. 34-31. They had several games that ended exactly at 34-31. The two head coaches, Ron and Lavelle, would make videos, commercials, patting each other on the back. They were dear friends. They would rib each other. And they had a great relationship. And I think BYU fans and Utah fans also had a great relationship because they took their lead from the two head coaches. So for a number of years, decades, I think this was a really healthy rivalry. And then Urban Meyer comes into town, and he immediately starts talking to BYU about, he wouldn't even say their name. He would call them the team down south. He wouldn't even say their name, BYU. And that's where it started to escalate the temperature. And all of a sudden, it started going from kind of fun and buddy-buddy and pat each other on the back to, no, you're our rival. We don't lose to you. We don't talk to you. We don't respect you. And I think that team down south, which quite honestly, Kyle Whittingham has played into the same thing. He won't say BYU, or he doesn't say BYU very often. He refers to them as the in-state team, the in-state game. He doesn't say their name. I think that's a bad step forward because I think it turns it from being a fun little rivalry to something bitter. Now, my hope is that we can come back from that. Kalani Sitake, after the game, he was speaking to his players in the locker room, and I want to play a little bit from Coach Sitake and listen to how he speaks about the University of Utah. Now, let me just say, Coach Sitake, he used to be the defensive coordinator up at the University of Utah. He got his break from Kyle Whittingham. So they are very close. The coaching staff at BYU is basically filled with former Utah football coaches. So very fond feelings from BYU's side of things. Listen to Kalani Sitake talk about the University of Utah.
Did you guys do all the workouts? Did you guys go through all the pain? The guys you're playing against, they believe in the same thing too. That's why it's important to respect them and love them. Lavelle gave me this feeling when I was a player for him. And everybody's thought, like, oh, why would you do that? It seems kind of soft. It's what tough guys do. He taught me that lesson, and then all I did was try to love as many people as I could, and now they're here with me, and I call them my brothers. And so who knows what can happen in the relationships you can have by just being kind and being Christ-like. You guys agree with me? Yes, sir.
That's what he's saying our relationship with Utah should be.
I want to listen to that again.
Did you guys do all the workouts? Did you guys go through all the pain? The guys you're playing against, they believe in the same thing too. That's why it's important to respect them and love them. Lavelle gave me this feeling when I was a player for him. And everybody's thought, like, oh, why would you do that? It seems kind of soft. It's what tough guys do. He taught me that lesson, and then all I did was try to love as many people as I could, and now they're here with me, and I call them my brothers. And so who knows what can happen in the relationships you can have by just being kind and being Christ-like. You guys agree with me? Yes, sir.
I got chills. I just wanted to react to that.
Isn't that great?
I hadn't heard that before. And you had flagged that earlier in the show that you said you wanted to play it for us, and that's the first time I heard that. And that was during the game or after the game on Saturday?
Yeah, when emotions are hot, he talks about the love of that he has for the University of Utah and the people that are there. And he's like, it's not soft. This is what tough men do. Do not create walls. And one of the things you would notice during the game, one thing that stood out to me is after a big hit or a big block and somebody's on the ground, BYU fans are helping Utah fans off the ground. Typically what you do is you just run back to your huddle and then your team comes over and helps up. But that is something that is very common with BYU. You knock somebody down from the opposing team, and then you help them up. I love that message. And I think that is far more effective in changing fan behavior than any commercial that can be done or any arrest that can be made.
Well, I know what got the University of Utah fans fired up was probably that holding call that their team drew at the end of the game that breathed new life into BYU's chances to march on down the field, and they won. I mean, they won the game. Whether you believe in that holding call or not, BYU won. They had a rough start too. They did not have an easy start. I think I apologize for you when talking about this on Monday or to you. When I said they had like a bad news Bears kind of first half of the game. BYU did, and the University of Utah ran into the locker room at halftime with all the momentum, in my view, on their side. And then they struggled. You struggled in the second half, and BYU marches that down the field and takes advantage of that and kicks the field goal, and they win. BYU's now, 9-0. And they've moved up in the rank. What are they, number 6 now? So this was a big win. I think it was number 6 that I saw come over. Dave, you're like shaking your head like, I don't know. Deb, why do you know this stuff? I got the alert yesterday from KSL News Radio. But what is it then? Is it the coaches, Dave, that will change the fan behavior and take us back to the McBride, Lavelle, the Ron and Lavelle times where things felt a lot more friendly?
That's the solution. In my opinion, I think it's got to come from the coaches, and the coaches have to send a message, and we will follow. It's that kind of leadership. We've seen it happen in the past. I absolutely think these two coaches could do it. Coach Whittingham, Coach Satake, they love each other. They are close friends. After the game, they hugged each other. People are like, oh, they didn't shake hands. Yeah, because they hugged each other.
They did.
Yeah, people are like, they didn't even shake hands. It's a hug, guys. It's better than a handshake.
So I want to take live phone calls. What question do you want to ask our listeners?
Do you blame our fans? Are we never going to fix this rivalry, so we should just get rid of it? Or do you think it can be salvaged through some strong leadership? Or are you just done with the rivalry? Is it too much? Is it too ugly? Let us know. 801-575-TALK. 801-575-TALK.
It's 11:31 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bonas. KSL's top local story this hour. The mayor of Kaysville pushing back against a plan to put a code blue warming shelter in her community that would help the homeless. She says the plan involves busing people to an old emissions building.
Asking people to get on a bus going into another city outside of their community, away from their friends, family, associates, jobs, because people do have jobs that are in this situation, doesn't make a lot of sense if we're actually going to keep them alive.
Mayor Tamara Tran tells Dave and Dujanovic the building's still in use by workers during the day and isn't closed to any services that homeless people may need. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Senate Republicans voted to make Senator John Thune of South Dakota the next majority leader. President-elect Trump wants the Senate to allow him to make recess appointments that don't require Senate confirmation. Thune says he's open to that idea. The president-elect met with House Republicans in Washington today, as well as with President Trump in the Oval Office. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average is up on the day right now, 176 points. The NASDAQ is up 58. And our KSL weather, look for partly cloudy skies with a little bit warmer temperatures. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:32.
Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
The Advanced Window Products end-of-season sale is happening now. Your chance to get beautiful new state-of-the-art windows and save a bundle on your energy bill. Call Advanced Window Products now, and they'll give you $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. We're talking about custom frames and sealed double-pane glass, any style, any color, and they're created just for you right here in Utah. You need a doggy door inlaid into the glass? They do it all the time. In fact, Advanced Window Products has been building the highest quality windows here in Salt Lake City for 38 years. So there's no middleman and you save money. They build the windows, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. So keep the heat inside with new windows. The energy companies will even give you a rebate. Advanced Window Products offers 0% financing, affordable monthly payments, and now $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Call them right now, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
At Macy's, our famous Kong Cone is here to add a sweet chill to your autumn adventures. Whether you're crunching through leaves or cozying up with family, this towering cone of creamy goodness is the perfect fall companion. Stop by Macy's today and grab a famous Kong Cone, because fall is cool, and your treat should be too. Macy's. Happy shopping!
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Lowe's honors our military community this Veterans Day and every day. To say thank you, verified military members, veterans, and their spouses get 10% off everyday purchases, plus free silver key status with My Lowe's Rewards. It's our way of showing our gratitude to the brave people who have and continue to serve our country. Learn more now at lowes.com/military. 10% discount can't be combined with another offer. Exclusions, terms, and conditions apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
The KSL News Radio Movie Show comes to My Hearing Centers this Friday from 10 to 1. But first, discover what My Hearing Centers can do for you. My Hearing Centers uses advanced technology to diagnose and treat hearing loss. These comprehensive evaluations determine the best treatment options. Then enjoy lifetime support with regular check-ins, cleaning, and maintenance. Call My Hearing Centers at 801-701-1629. 801-701-1629 for more details. My Hearing Centers has offices from Ogden to St. George.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Ricky Meese.
A rough ride on the 21st South Freeway in both directions. Westbound delays go from Redwood to 3200 West. Eastbound delays start prior to Bangerter Highway. It does look like road work may be a part of these issues. We don't have an accident reported here, but SR 201, the 21st South Freeway at 3200 West, a big jam up in both delays there. You want to consider an alternate route. This holiday season, Murdoch Hyundai is grateful for you. Celebrate during the Murdoch Hyundai Season of Giving sales event. Receive 0% for 4 years on the Elantra, Sonata, Tucson, or Santa Fe. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy today and tomorrow with highs in the mid-50s. There is a chance of rain Friday and Saturday. And right now, 43 degrees, partly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. For Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
We're talking about the University of Utah BYU rivalry. We got word today that there was an arrest made in a water bottle throwing incident that sent the BYU head cheer coach down to the ground when it hit her.
There were fans are throwing water bottles.
That was cell phone video from Cougar fan Jessica Hellawell. It's on the Deseret News website, and that's where we watched it and saw it and thought, well, we got to report on this. An 18-year-old's been arrested. We'll continue to follow that angle. Apparently not a University of Utah student. But this brought us to the discussion that we were having just a few minutes ago about, fan behavior and how things unfold at these games. And I just wonder, what message needs to be sent that changes the behavior? And Dave said he thinks the message has to come from the coaches.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely crucial. It's the only one that I think can change it. I think back to the Lavelle Edwards, Ron McBride relationship where they were dear friends. And I think the fans followed. I think they battled. You still cheered for blue or red, but at the end of the day, we weren't as toxic as we are now. So what I want to know, and we're taking your phone calls, 801-575-TALK, do you think the rivalry can be changed or salvaged, or is it just too far gone? Has it become too toxic? Mark in Lehigh, what do you think?
Well, Dave, I agree with you. I think it does start with the coaches, but I totally think it can be salvaged. I grew up in Arizona. I'm a huge Arizona State Sun Devils fan. Go Devils, Deb.
Yep.
And
100%.
Arizona, ASU, and the U of A have had a healthy. I say healthy, but take that with a grain of
you
salt.
mean unhealthy, but go ahead. Rivalry.
Yeah, right. With the U of A for years and years and years, clear back from the Frank Kush days, but they've had their ups and downs. But I think they've salvaged it. Anytime they've had issues, but you can't. You can only control the fans so much, but the examples do. I agree with Dave. I think it starts with the coaching and it moves from there. But yeah, I think it can be salvaged. I love BYU. I love Utah. I've had kids who've graduated from BYU, but even still, I vote for Utah when other schools are in town playing Utah, as long as it's not Arizona State.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way, Mark. Love it. I'm absolutely Sun Devil through and through. Graduated from there a long time ago and have always been, and actually attended the U of A for the first part of my college experience, but transferred up to Arizona State University, quite frankly, because they had a much better, robust journalism program than the University of Arizona did. I'm fully aware. I was at the U of A when Steve Kerr was playing for the U of A. Now, of course, head basketball coach with the Golden State Warriors. But love that phone call, Mark. Thank you so much. Should we get to Joe on line 3? Hi, Joe.
Hi. I would say I agree with Dave. I think the coaches need to do a better job. I applaud Kalani Sitake for the way he handles this team. And I think the university also needs to do a better job. I think it was an embarrassment the way the U came out against the game. And sadly, I think that this is just another episode of where sports is going in our country. The stadiums are being turned into the last great Coliseum where that's all they want to see is blood and guts. And it's really sad because it makes you want to just buy a better TV and watch the games at home.
It's so true. And I think a lot of people have actually done that, where they don't feel comfortable going into a road stadium and being berated and yelled at and screamed at and having, drinks poured on them. We see that all the time. So, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for calling. What really stood out to me, and this is why I think it falls on the coaches above all, because the players will follow the coaches, right? So it's going to affect the players. When you have the coaches and the players unified, then the fans will follow. We've seen it time and time again. But when the coaches start complaining about things, when they start attacking, when they start lashing out, the fans will do the exact same thing.
Well, I did not realize that rival right, campaign had come out just days before the game, and this is with the presidents of the U of U and BYU, And it's a really fun kind of ad to promote, let's all get along and have fun.
But most of all, you respect the people on the other side, no matter how bad you want them to lose.
However hot the rivalry gets, you don't let the competition get in the way of your common humanity.
And remember, what happens off the field matters just as much as the score.
In the end, that's what makes you a real fan.
Well, that and having Utah Man played at your funeral.
I didn't realize that, Dave, until you pointed that out to me, after I came into work on Monday and was just absolutely in shock over what the athletic director, Mark Harlan, had said in a microphone after the game on Saturday night.
We were excited about being in the Big 12, but tonight I am not. We won this game. Someone else stole it from us.
And you said, hey, look, the two university presidents got together, and there's this ad that's out. You played it for me. And then in contrast, there was the Mark Harlan comments, which he since came out and said, he just left the locker room. Team was hurting and upset, and the University of Utah is proud to be a member of the Big 12 Conference. We look forward to working with our peers to continue and enhance the league. So he since, after those comments, said that. But I was like, if that's coming from the university presidents and then an athletic director took to a microphone, within a few minutes of the game ending and the University of Utah loss, how is that message then going to resonate for future games to fans?
Right. It's a great point. Here's the biggest key here. If you were to show a picture of Shane Reese, BYU's president, or Taylor Randall to the tens of thousands of students on campus, most of them would have no idea who the person is. They don't know who the president is. Every single one of them knows who the head football coach is. You show a picture of Kyle Whittingham, everyone knows. You show a picture of Kalani Sitake, everyone knows. Who's the highest paid employee in the entire state? It is Kyle Whittingham at the University of Utah. They are the face of the program. The leadership has to come. And this is the perfect couple. This is the perfect group to do it. Kalani Sitake, Kyle Whittingham, both played at BYU, both coached at the University of Utah. They have love for both institutions. If these two can't make it work, nobody can. But it's going to take Kyle Whittingham and Kalani Sitake to bridge that gap and fix this toxicity that exists.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Current events can have a lot of moving parts. Our job is to make it easy to keep up.
You're part of a bigger world, so spend 15 or 20 minutes here and be part of it.
Join us weekday mornings between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
If you're looking for a certified technician, available 24/7, same-day service because your garage door won't open, well, that's Advanced Garage Doors. They can take care of you.
And that's why I want actually put this phone number in your cell phone right now so you can have it handy. Look, I've had all kinds of garage door issues, and they're never convenient. So you want to keep Advanced Garage Doors right at the tip of your fingertips to call them at any time. 801-252-5977. 801-252-5977. Don't forget, they offer you a lifetime warranty on all residential doors and parts. You'll have peace of mind knowing that your garage door is always protected, of course, as long as you follow their recommendations.
And they are experts. I tell you, we sat down with them for lunch, and Debbie, you were talking about some of the problems you were having with the garage door. And they're like, oh, it's because the sunlight is interrupting the sensor, and we have a little cheap little fix for that'll block out the sunlight.
It's incredible.
They are the experts. They've seen everything. They do everything. So make sure if you have a garage door issue, or if you want to design your own and you want to have it installed, make sure you reach out to Advanced Garage Doors. Their website is easy, advanced-door.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Everyone on the road is trying to make it to their destination safely.
You can help by staying aware of the large trucks and buses around you. They take longer to stop, have large blind spots, and make wide turns that require caution from other drivers. It takes all of us working together to share the road safely. Learn more at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov. Paid for by FMCSA.
Do you know how to tell if a clogged drain is something to worry about or not? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I understand it's annoying and inconvenient, but sometimes a clogged drain can be a sign there's a more serious issue with your sewer main line. If the drains in the lowest level of your home aren't draining, or you flush a toilet and it comes up somewhere else like a shower or a floor drain, I'm urging you to look at this as more than just an annoyance. The last thing I want you to experience is a sewer backup. If you're a homeowner experiencing any of these issues, the first step would be to snake the line to see if it's just a blockage, which one of our drain techs can do for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
It's official. KSL Sports is your official radio home of the Utah Hockey Club. When the puck hits the ice this fall, you'll hear every goal, every check, and every tension-filled moment on the KSL Sports Zone. Plus, let your voice be heard on the Utah Hockey Club Fan Forum on KSLSports.com, your exclusive home of the NHL and the Utah Hockey Club in Utah is KSL Sports and 97.5. The KSL Sports Zone.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Connect Capital's mission is to empower emerging and diverse entrepreneurs in creating sustainable companies that bring high-quality jobs and new economic opportunities in underserved regions of the United States. Here with more is board member Matt Warnock.
Utah's tech scene is red hot, but starting a company is hard. Most startups fail, often because they lack experience, capital, or both. At Connect Capital, we help founders put both experience and capital in their corner. Founded in 1983, Connect Capital is the world's oldest and most successful nonprofit venture accelerator. Our alumni include Ancestry.com, Myriad Genetics, and over 1,000 others. We pair promising startups with a multidisciplinary team of experienced volunteers, helping them attract capital from smart investors. Over 60% of our alumni raise capital, and 80% are still in business 10 years later. Unlike many accelerators, we don't move our startups to Silicon Valley or other places. We've been bringing capital to local communities right here in Utah for over 40 years. At Connect Capital, we help founders start right, raise capital, and change the world. We're building the future one startup at a time.
Connect Capital believes that diversity brings better connections and better returns. This thriving community of entrepreneurs, mentors, and capital sources extends beyond tech, adding value and creating unexpected connections across many industries. Find out more at connectcapital.org. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
The National Security Advisor is speaking right now from the White House. They are doing a press briefing about the meeting today that happened at the White House between President-elect Donald Trump and President Joe Biden.
Cooperation between our three nations and discuss the importance of institutionalizing the progress we've made so that it carries forward through the transition. While in Lima, President Biden will also meet with President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China. This will be the third in-person meeting between the two leaders since President Biden came into office, and their final meeting as presidents. They previously met, as you know, in Bali in 2022 at the G20 summit, and at Woodside, California.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan now discussing President Biden's upcoming trip to China. But moments ago, we apparently just missed it. They were giving an update on what the transition will look like once President Trump takes over, sworn into office.
And when they met, when President Biden and President-elect Trump, boy, it is a mouthful to say all that.
I've said it a million times, and I still get it.
It's a little clumsy.
Yeah.
When they met this morning, I thought it was such an interesting contrast to what we had seen on the campaign trail. The vitriol that has come out of both those men's mouths about each other, to actually have them sit down at the White House in front of a raging fire, shaking hands, laughing, joking. I thought that was an incredible moment of symbolism that typically I throw symbolism out the door, right? That it doesn't mean a lot. It's kind of empty words. But in this case, it meant something to me as I watched it. I thought it was important for President Biden to acknowledge that Trump had won, that to congratulate him, to welcome him back to the White House is what he says, welcome back, and to show that, yeah, we can do this. We can do this and smoothly.
Also want to let you know, as Tim Hughes takes over the microphone, he's in today for Maria Chaleos to do our new news cast. We do expect that President-elect Donald Trump will be addressing the media at some point in a briefing, maybe outside the White House. We saw microphones set up there earlier. We do know that the two, both President Biden and President-elect Trump, went into a private meeting after they met briefly in front of the media in the White House. But we will, of course, be keeping all eyes and ears on Washington, D.C., and we'll bring that to you live the moment President-elect Donald Trump begins to address the media and perhaps even the nation in front of those microphones.
Priced out, inflation, special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
You know, one thing we've certainly been tracking closely here at KSL News Radio, and I know you're tracking it closely at home when you just look at your budget and your day-to-day living expenses, is the consumer price index. And I know you're probably not poring over the CPI every single day, but you're just thinking, okay, how much a grocery is going to cost me this month, and what do things look like out there? Should I buy this or that? We got word this morning that the consumer price index rose 2.6% in October. It's up slightly from September, which was at 2.4%, but it's not the 9% that we were seeing a couple of years ago. But still, you get concerned about where prices are at, and are we at a new price point, Dave?
Yeah, it really is a new price point, and you're not going to see deflation. And you don't necessarily want deflation. We were talking to an economist down at BYU, and he said, listen, everyone's all for deflation until it hits your wages. And all of a sudden, your boss says, we're going to have to pay you $10,000 less because of deflation. So listen, we just need to swallow the bitter pill of what inflation was and what it is now. And then the better move forward, I think, is to say, okay, what lesson did we learn that caused the terrible 40-year inflation? And then let's not do that again.
You and I this week have been talking about inflation hacks and budget hacks to save money while we still, try to make ends meet. And so I brought with you here today for you, Dave, is a list of top 50 tips to save money on groceries in 2024.
Oh, I love it. I want to see how many I'm doing, if I'm doing any of them.
I don't know if I can get through all 50 in the next 5 minutes. But this is a shout out to Reader's Digest. I found this on their website. 50 tips, supermarket tips to save money on groceries in 2024. Have you noticed that your grocery bill is higher than it used to be?
Oh, way higher. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And so we're always looking for ways to save money. And there's some tips that you hear all the time, and maybe I'll hit some of those as well, that are just good staple tips that we need to remember. But here's one that I forget about a lot. Shop your pantry. Shop your pantry and your freezer. I used to do this challenge when my kids were much younger. It was a me challenge. I challenged myself. Like, how many months could I go living on feeding my kids and my family on the groceries, the items that were in my pantry or in my freezer? And sometimes it would I could go for 2 weeks because I had a stockpile of the stuff. And you know what it is? It's the pasta. It's the instant mashed potatoes. It's calories in. That's what it is. And I would shop my pantry, and it would, it'd save us a few $100s.
Yeah, it's crucial. And I think one tip that I would have is have less stuff in your freezer, have less stuff in your pantry, because you just get overwhelmed by it. When you go in there and there are 4 cans, you're like, well, I guess we're having green beans tonight.
Or gets hidden. Like,
oh yeah. And it goes bad.
It expired. Yep. Shop on Wednesdays is one of the tips. They said, according to Google Maps, stores tend to be less crowded on Wednesday evenings. They've looked at Google Maps. Okay. So you'll end up less flustered and distracted. It's also when weekday specials start at many U.S. supermarkets.
Wednesdays.
Yeah. So now everybody's going to be at the grocery store on Wednesday evenings. Now, I've got this tip. I have learned over the years, I shop at the same stores all the time because I think it's really important to know the layout of the stores, because the less time you spend in a store and you have command of the cart, you're not getting distracted by stuff you don't need, the more money back in your pocket. The more time you linger in a store, the more money you inadvertently spend. That's my experience. That's my tip. That wasn't in the Reader's Digest that I can see. Go generic. Absolutely. Name brand. I know this from experience and reading up on studies. 25% savings on average if you shop generic over name brand. I recently tested this theory, Dave, and I went out and I bought just 3 products. And I bought the name brand and I bought the generic brand. And the savings was actually 40% on my bill on just those 3 items.
You know what? This is actually a fun family activity. If you're looking, buy generic, buy name brand, and you do little taste tests. It's something we've done for family parties, and then you try to track who was right. It's really fun, and you'll realize, oh, the generic tastes basically the same, except when it comes to Oreos.
Sometimes you look at the back of the can, and the ingredients are the exact same, too. That's what I do. I check. Okay, we have a couple more. Skip the big cart. Agree. If we have a bigger cart, we want to fill it up with more stuff. If you can, I try to just use my hands. Now, I'm just usually just shopping for me. So, but that always, or the basket. Grate your own cheese. That's one. You save money if you grate your own cheese. And then stop shopping at eye level. We tend to look at items placed at eye level because they're convenient, and marketers know that. So eye level is where the pricier items live on the store shelves. So look up and look down for cheaper prices.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time is 12 o'clock noon, and this is the noon news. I'm Tim Hughes, in for Maria Chaleos today. Let's take a look at our top stories. The Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office is asking for money to keep their deputies from leaving for better-paying offices. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
The county's HR compensation team completed a study and suggested a 4% increase to the current pay plans. That brings the total budget to just over $4 million. Those include employees in the correction, public safety, and law enforcement bureaus. County Sheriff Rosie Rivera says they're losing deputies to better paying positions with other law enforcement agencies.
Salt Lake City, Unified Police Department, West Valley, Sandy, all those we're losing folks to. And so we want to make sure that we're at least comparable to that.
The council pushed back, arguing that salary adjustments should go per employee based on their skills and tasks instead of a department-wide raise. No final decision has been made. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Kaysville residents packed a Davis County Commission meeting yesterday to voice their opposition to a planned Code Blue warming center for the homeless.
We don't want answers. We don't want the shelter.
One that you choose to listen